who on this Indian summer, November 4th, 2005, autumn evening, will play host to Coach Dan Starkey's Roger Bacon Spartans in what promises to be another exciting round of Ohio high school football action. Hi everybody, Joe and Andy's dad, Dave Prem, along with the football doctor and Abby and Michael's dad, Greg Schmidt, here to give you the play-by-play for this exciting playoff game, Greg.
Yeah, Dave, good evening, everyone. A lot of excitement here at the stadium tonight. It is a playoff atmosphere, packed house, or about to be a packed house. And what a great night for football. About 68 degrees at game time, early November. Dave, it doesn't get any better than this.
Greg, the Braves coming off a huge win last week at the hands of the Purcell Cavaliers. The Braves won 35-0 and did two important things. Number one, they were able to go undefeated in the regular season, 10-0 for the first time since 1970. And number two, and more important, they were able to secure that number one seed in the playoffs for tonight's game, giving them the home field advantage against Purcell.
You're absolutely right, Dave. It was big last week. Huge crowd on hand. The Braves go 10-0, as you said, for the first time in 35 years. So this team made history last week, and we'll have to see how they do coming off that historic evening. I'm sure Coach Seipel has the boys ready to play. You can't help but just getting pumped up and excited with this atmosphere here at the stadium this evening.
Greg, of course, our team is led on the offensive side of the ball by number 15, quarterback Michael Scherpenberg, who has just had an outstanding year at the quarterback position. He leads the league in just about every offensive category that a quarterback is listed in, and we have to hope tonight that he has a great game.
Michael has just had a phenomenal year, Dave, as we've talked. We talked a lot about him last week and his statistics. As everyone knows, or all of the Indian Hill viewers know, and maybe not some of our fans from other areas may know, Michael leads the city in passing. He has completed 159 passes on 256 attempts for 2,740 yards. And over 10 games, of course, that's an average of 274 yards per game. He leads the city by some 600 yards over the quarterback at Middletown High School, whose name is Jones. So Michael has had a phenomenal year, leads the city in multiple categories, as we've mentioned. And it's just going to be another exciting evening of football with Michael Scherpenberg on the field.
I'll tell you what's even more impressive about those stats that you just mentioned for Mike Scherpenberg, or Sherpy as some of the boys call him, is that he's achieved those yards playing not in all four quarters of every game. Early in the season, when the Braves were able to roll over their opponents, it gave Coach Seipel the luxury of letting some second-team players and some JV players and even ninth grade players get to taste what it feels like to play on Friday night. That meant that Mike would sit down and not add to those stats, and one can only wonder how many yards he really should have this year if he played every game, every quarter.
Yeah, Dave, there's no doubt it would be higher, and I'm sure it would be a lot higher because of the scores and lots of the games this year. As you indicated, Coach Seipel would pull Michael out of the game, and he didn't get a chance to play probably most of the fourth quarter throughout the season, and even parts of the third quarter. That's largely due to the fact that Indian Hill averaged almost 46 points per game. Their average is 45.7 points per game. As I mentioned before, Michael threw for 2,740 yards this season for 36 touchdowns.
Well, you know, Greg, the success that you were just talking about really became apparent last week in a really big game, as we mentioned earlier, over Purcell. And our bosses, Andrew Burgess and Pete Carr, the director and producer of this Indian Hill TV network broadcast, had put together a little spot showing the fans at home just what the Braves were able to do. And let's take it to that spot right now.
Yeah, Dave, let's hear what Coach Seipel has to say.
Very important to them, and I'm very, very happy for them. That's something that they can tell their children about, and then maybe they can come back in 35 years and talk to an Indian Hill team about going undefeated. So that's very special for our guys. Hosting the home playoff game is more important than anything. To be able to stay here on our own turf and play Roger Bacon is a big help. We play so much better at home than we do on the road, so you know that's a big goal for us in the beginning of the year, to win a CHL championship, which we were able to do, and to host a playoff game that first week of the playoffs. You know, Roger Bacon is big and physical up front, both sides of the ball. They are going to try to come in and control the line of scrimmage and be more physical than us and out-hit us. I think that's their strength. They've got a good running back and one good receiver, and the quarterback's pretty good. But I think if they cause problems for us, it's going to be in the trenches. So you know, we need to make it a perimeter game and have a skill-oriented type game and to counteract their strength up front. We haven't prepared any differently than we would any other week. We've stressed all year long, take it 1 week at a time. Our coaches prepared the same way. We had the exact same schedule this week that we did for the first 10 weeks. It's just a different opponent. They have different strengths and different weaknesses, but everything else is the same. But the only difference now is we know that it's one and out. If we don't win the football game, we're going to be handing in our gear next week. If we do win, we've got another week of preparation.
Well, Greg, some pretty inspirational words there from Coach Seipel, the guy that's responsible for the Braves' very impressive 10-0 record, and the man that's responsible for the fact that they are one of the most formidable teams in Division III this season.
Coach Seipel is very honest in his remarks and very humble as well. He is largely responsible for the success of the team this year. He has some great athletes on the field, but somebody has had to put this together and keep the Braves marching forward. We were talking before, Dave, about Michael Scherpenberg and the passing offense that Indian Hill has enjoyed this year, and really this high-powered offense, scoring some 45, 46 points per game, averaging 441 yards of total offense per game. And the passing game has been really the heart and soul of the Indian Hill offense, but the rushing game hasn't been bad either. And in fact, the team has a little over 1,600 yards in total rushing offense for the year. Combined with the passing offense, gives Indian Hill a total team offense of 4,414 yards for the season. Again, over 10 games, an average of some 441 yards per game. And of course, Indian Hill leads the city with that mark. Coleraine comes in at second place with about 3,900 yards. So Indian Hill is some 500 yards ahead of its second place competitor, if you will, with Coleraine High School in total offense.
Wonder if Sherpy gets frequent flyer miles for all those yards he's accumulated this year.
He could, he surely could. And of course, with a great quarterback usually comes some great receivers, and Michael Scherpenberg is blessed with that here at Indian Hill this year. Probably his favorite target is Jake Kendall. Jake's a senior, been a very successful receiver. Jake has 60 catches for the year for a total of 836 yards, which puts him in 5th place in the city among receivers. There's also some other very fine receivers, John Spatz, Danny Johnson, Drew Tolliver, Andrew Kyriakis will be in and catch a ball from time to time. Kramer Hendricks occasionally we'll see on offense in the slot position, and Kramer can go out and catch a ball for Mike Scherpenberg as well. So just a great group of talented receivers with a very talented quarterback in the backfield, and that makes for some high-powered offense.
Greg, the great Indian Hill High School marching band led by Director Don Barker is coming out on the field, and in a moment we'll hear them behind the instruction of their director, Ali Cox, honor the United States as they play the national anthem. While Mr. Barker's getting ready for that, I would like to mention something that Coach Seipel's touched on, you've touched on. Mike Scherpenberg's success is attributable to a number of things. Number one, he's a great athlete himself. He does have outstanding receivers, but a quarterback and receivers are only as good as their offensive line. They got a pretty good line, and number 74 Joe Waterman, 72 Jim Thomas, 57 Chase Daniels, 59 Alex Becker, and 50 Pete Carr. Now we'll listen to the band as they play the national anthem. I was listening to the national anthem, I looked out amongst the crowd. This is really a large crowd for an Indian Hill football game, and everybody seems to be into it.
Everybody is pumped up. It's big time. The atmosphere is so different. You know, this is what it's all about. This is the playoffs. It's what these boys have worked hard for all year. They start in the weight room in January, and they work in there with weights through the spring, and they have their summer practices and their summer camps and two-a-days in August, and season starts, and boom, here you are. This is what it's all about.
Not so sure that they envisioned that they'd be playing their first playoff game in almost summer-like conditions here, as it's at least 65 degrees out in the field. Couldn't ask for a nicer night for a football game.
Absolutely. When I walked in, I felt like it was one of those early season September games. It was so warm. We've talked a lot about Indian Hill and its weapons. I did mention just before the national anthem, Case Cousineau, Dave, who's done just an awesome job. He's been pretty much the featured running back for the Indian Hill offense this year. Case has 20 touchdowns on the season, so he's been a very productive force for the Indian Hill offense.
And Greg, over the last couple of weeks, Case has really had to carry the load, spelled a little bit by number 34, the middle linebacker, Kevin McFarland, and number 39, Jonathan Whitehouse, because number 32, Matt Merritt, our other talented senior running back, was injured. It looks like we saw in practice today, Matt was running pretty well on his legs, was catching some passes. So let's hope that as the Braves start round one of the playoffs, all of their weapons are at Coach Seipel's disposal. When that happens, they're hard to beat.
The Braves need Matt Merritt back in there for his running ability, Dave, as you mentioned, but also for his foot. As the Indian Hill fans know, Matt is the field goal kicker and kickoff man for the Braves, and they missed him last week, and not having him available. Andrew Kyriakis did some of the kicking and did a great job. But we definitely want to see Matt Merritt back in there tonight.
Greg, we see the Braves now at their end of the stadium coming out of the locker room ready to come onto the field. And this is such a thrilling thing for all the players as they get a standing ovation from their appreciative crowd. And they make their way to the end zone for the introductions of the players. And I'll tell you, I can't imagine being a 17-year-old kid achieving all the success of the Braves and having the opportunity to play in a game like this.
This is big. You can't help getting pumped up with this one, and the hairs on the back of your neck start to stand up. That's for sure. Goosebumps and all of that. Dave, I was going to mention, we've talked a lot about Indian Hill and its high-powered offense. We haven't had too much of a chance yet to talk about Roger Bacon. Of course, we're not real familiar with Roger Bacon because they're in the GCL. As everyone knows, that's the Greater Catholic League. North Division for Roger Bacon. They're in with Alter, Chaminade, Julian out of date, Bate, McNicholas, and Purcell Marion. So we know that Roger Bacon comes out of a formidable GCL North Division. They finished second during the season with an overall record of 6-4, 4-1 in the division. So this is a tough football team. Has a long storied history and tradition of some great football. Roger Bacon football, going back to when we were younger, has always been a great tradition and powerhouse. So we're looking for a great game tonight. The Roger Bacon team is led by quarterback Kurt Rocco. Kurt has thrown for 1,509 yards this season with 13 TD passes. So Michael Scherpenberg has a formidable opponent in Kurt Rocco on the other side of the ball, Dave.
Greg, I'm not sure. We were talking to some of our buddies that came up and couldn't believe that the Braves couldn't find anybody better than us to give the play-by-play tonight. They were kind of kidding us about it. We missed the coin toss. It looks like the Braves are lining up to kick off, and it looks like number 3, Andrew Kyriakis, is going to do the kicking as he moves his way over to the 40-yard line to the left side of the screen to take the ball away from the referee. So that means that number 14, the man you just mentioned, Kurt Rocco, the talented quarterback for the Roger Bacon Spartans, will probably get the ball first. And Greg, I say that because last week there was a great play on offense by our Indian Hill Braves. Number 1, Jake Kendall, he ran a ball back 88 yards to score a touchdown with only 15 seconds off the clock in the first quarter, and you never know on special teams. They can make or break you. Let's hope the Braves come up big here on special teams.
Yeah, surely. Looking out, I do see Matt Merritt with the ball, Dave, so It looks like Matt is back and able to kick. Andrew Kiriakis is on the team, as you mentioned, and here we go. Ball's, I was going to say in the air, but it's a squib kick.
That would have been an error in baseball as number 21 for Roger Bacon is able to make his way to the outside of the field as Dante Swain, and Greg, just as Jake Kendall had done last week in the Braves game over Purcell, Dante Swain in 14 seconds changes a scoreless game to a 6-0 game in favor of Roger Bacon, and you know that's not the way that Coach Seipel wanted this game to start.
That was almost like a prediction, only I didn't like that prediction. That was going the wrong way. That was the exact same thing that happened last week, only last week it was in favor of the Braves against Purcell. And here this evening with 14 seconds gone in the game, Roger Bacon turns it around on the Braves.
Jay Fences, number 6, is in to attempt the extra point. And there's some movement on the Braves side of the ball, and looks like it's going to be a little encroachment call on the Braves, as maybe that energy and that excitement has gotten the best of these players here early in the game, Greg.
Looks like the Braves are just a little excited. Somebody jumped on the line, and with that penalty, Roger Bacon will go ahead and go for the 2-point conversion at this point.
So number 14, Kurt Rocco, the quarterback for Roger Bacon, comes back in. He's got 2 running backs in the backfield. Looks like number 4, Ben Cart, and number 22, Demetrius Toombs. The handoff, the fake handoff, and it's a pass to
number 82.
Number 82
pass is
there.
Complete for the 2-point conversion.
To Ryan Shearer, who catches the ball and puts the Braves down 8-0, Greg, pretty quickly. I think if you're the Braves, what you got to do is just shake this off and pretend it's a 0-0 game. Sherpy's going to get the ball. You know good things are going to happen. We can get right back in this game very quickly.
Yes, Dave, you got to think the Braves are going to score a lot of points. They always do. As you said, I'm sure Coach Seipel isn't too pleased with starting. Now 8 down. That was a nice call there by Roger Bacon, too. Nice fake into the line, tended to draw the linebackers and the corners in just a little bit, and number 82 got out on the left side and got open. Nice pass by Kurt Rocco to give the Roger Bacon Spartans an 8-0 lead early in the game.
Number 4, Ben Cart, will be apparently the kickoff person on the Spartans side of the ball. We've got number 1, Jake Kendall, and number 2, Case Cousineau, back to receive. And Greg, let's hope that Jake or Case can return the favor here, and if not, get a touchdown, get us some pretty good field position.
This would be a great time to return the favor right here. Tie this up.
And the ball's another squib kick, and they're going to let Case take the ball, and he's going to make his way up to about the 30-yard line and get stopped there by several Spartans, including number 6, Jay Francis. Can't read that, Greg, need my glasses, but Braves will have the ball at the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 for Sherpy and boys, and here comes our offensive unit.
Yeah, I think Roger Bacon was smart there to kick the ball away from Jake Kendall. You'll notice that it went to the right side. Of course, Case is an excellent athlete, very capable, but with, as you mentioned, Jake bringing that one back last week, I'm sure the coaches told him to keep it away from Jake.
Sherp back in the shotgun with Case back next to him. He's going to pass over the middle, and number 6, Drew Tolliver, a talented receiver that really stepped up his game last week, Greg, makes a great catch over the middle. 1st down Braves at about the 43-yard line.
Great pitch and catch there, I'll tell you. That's what we've seen from Michael Scherpenberg all year, Dave. Just waits for his receiver to clear and just fires an absolute strike. Hit Drew right on the 6, just right there on his hands, and a great job by Drew to pull that ball in. So 1st and 10 Braves.
Mike Scherpenberg back in the shotgun once again with 2 receivers right, 2 left, and he fires out into the flat, and his intended receiver, number 1, Jake Kendall, unable to wrestle that ball in as he had to go to his knees, Greg. And with Mike Scherpenberg, an incomplete pass on 1st down really isn't any big deal because he can get a 1st down right now.
1st down from anywhere. It's our first look at Jake Kendall, Michael's favorite receiver. As we've talked about, that ball just a little too low for Jake to pull in.
Number 2, Case Cousineau, stands to the right of his quarterback, number 15, Mike Scherpenberg, and They're going to try a handoff up the middle, and Pace is on the ground, and got to call the ball down there as Case is on the ground. It looks like the refs are going to make the right call. Didn't hear the whistle there, Greg, and you got to give it to those Spartan players. They didn't hear the whistle either, so they kept playing.
Coach tells you keep on playing until you hear the whistle blow, and that looks like what the Spartans were doing there. A short gain by Case there, just a couple, maybe a yard and a half. Let's make it 3rd and 8.
They're going to put 3rd and 9 on the board, though, Greg, and Sherp is once again back in the shotgun, and he is able to get that ball to number 3, Andrew Kiriakis, but the referee says no, as he claims it bounced on the ground, and that's going to put us in 4th down territory, Greg, and it's going to be interesting here at the 43-yard line to see what Coach Seipel is going to do, whether he's going to go for it, and it looks like he is, or whether he's going to punt.
Going to go for it. We've seen a lot of that this year. Sometimes we think the Braves and Michael Scherpenberg are better on 4th down than on 3rd down there. 4th down conversion ratio is extremely high. So we'll see what they can do here. 4th and 9.
Mike Scherpenberg back to pass once again.
Blitz.
They're bringing everybody but the kitchen sink, and a great block there by number 67, Tony Crowell, as he's able to knock the ball away from the intended receiver, and we're going to have to give it up on downs. And now, Greg, an unheralded part of the Braves team is the defensive unit. They've played well all year. They pitched a shutout last week against Purcell, and probably could have pitched a couple of more shutouts earlier in the season, but we were up so big we brought in some second team and JV players and allowed them to enjoy playing football, and so some scores were had. We see a 1st down run to number 4. Ben Cart on the right side. He's brought down over there by a couple of Braves, including, looks like, number 34, Kevin McFarland, maybe number 57, Chase Daniels. I also see number 73, Steve Forbes, and number 55, Sam Moore out there. Number 8 is Chris Gouldy. They're up on the front of the line. I'll give you the rest of the Braves defensive unit out there, as now Kurt Rocco, he's back in the shotgun, and he's got nobody back there to protect him, and he gets the ball away, but a push off there, and by number 3, which was not called, but fortunately number 3, Matt Brunsman,
a lot of activity out there, a lot of pushing and shoving.
Was unable to bring that ball in, and it's gonna, well, that's number 7. I said 3, that's David Stevens, their talented receiver, the number 1 receiver on their team, and luckily he wasn't able to bring that in, Greg.
Lucky for the Braves that that ball fell incomplete. That was a nice throw by Kurt Rocco. Good route run there.
9:50 to go in the 1st quarter, with Roger Bacon up to a quick 8-0 lead, and Rocco back in the shotgun. And he's back to throw, and he's going to get away from the Braves, and he's going to try to make his way out and get a 1st down there, Greg. Is really the defense did a good job of covering the receivers, but everybody had to drop back, and that gave Rocco all the room he needed to run for a 1st down.
A good scramble by Kurt Rocco there. He saw the opening on the right side of the field, had a lot of daylight and pressure on him, but just not enough to bring him down. A lot of red shirts around him, but he was just able to make his way out on the right side. And we're seeing Roger Bacon going with the no-huddle offense again, taking a page out of the Bengals book here a little bit, Dave. 55,
Sam Moore comes off, your favorite player, Greg. 54, Michael Schmidt in on a 1st and 10 for Rocco and his Roger Bacon Spartans on about the 41-yard line. Back to pass again, and this time,
there we go,
the Braves defense, number 73, Steve Forbes, and number 54, Michael Schmidt, are able to wrap him off for a big loss. And that's the kind of defense we're used to seeing, Greg.
That's what we like to see, Dave, right there. Like to see 73 and 54 in that backfield all the time. So good play there. That's loss of 7, maybe even 8. Let's make it 2nd and 17 for the Spartans. And the Spartans stay with their no huddle. That's interesting, Dave. We didn't hear coming into the game this evening that they ran that no huddle. So that's something new for us.
Rocco back once again to pass, and there's a hold, and the ball because of some good defensive pressure there by number 57, Chase Daniels, and number 8 for the Indian Hill Braves, Chris Gouldy. Rocco is not steady on his feet, couldn't plant his feet, couldn't make a good throw, and overthrew his intended receiver.
Good rush again by the Braves front. A lot of pressure. And as you said, Dave, Kurt wasn't able to get his feet set, get squared up, and deliver a good pass. So 3rd and 17 now for Roger Bacon. Ball just about at the midfield stripe, just about the 50-yard line.
And they're back in the shotgun, and Rocco goes back once again to pass. And this time he gets the pass off, and it's caught there by their receiver, who does an outstanding job over there, Greg. Does
like
number 21,
Dante Swain.
Dante Swain, and I'll tell you, it looked like number 2, Case Cousineau, was right on him. Case went up to try to cause some disruption. Somehow that ball landed between them. Give credit to Swain. He used concentration, caught the ball for a big gain.
Big play for Roger Bacon on a 3rd and 17. Moves the ball all the way down to the Indian Hill 20. 1st and 10, and the Spartans stay on the shotgun offense, Dave.
And Rocco now hands off to his running back over on the right side. Number 32 there is Andrew Finnerson, and he's able to pick up a couple of yards there on the right side before number 32. And that's number 22, Greg.
Yeah, I thought that was 20.
Demetrius Toombs. He's able to pick up a couple of yards, and now it's going to be 2nd down and about 7 yards, or 2nd down and 4 as he picked up 6. Rocco back again, and another touchdown there to number 21, Dante Swain. And boy, I'll tell you, you got to tip your hat to Roger Bacon. They've really come up fired up, but they've also come out playing some pretty good football. Braves have to regroup, take a deep breath, and get back in this game, Greg.
We've seen some very nice throws by Kurt Rocco. We talked about him just a little bit ago, and his yardage for the year and his touchdown passes. We've seen some real quality throws from Kurt so far this evening.
And number 6 for Roger Bacon, Jay Francis, is able to put the ball through the uprights for the extra point. And so with 7:48 in the first quarter, it's going to be Roger Bacon 15, Indian Hill nothing. And Greg, it's unusual territory for the Braves. There was only one time this season that I can recall when the Braves were behind by more than a touchdown. That was in the Reading game, which was in the worst conditions you could have for football. And in that game, the Braves were able to suck it up, take a deep breath, and get themselves back in the game. And you know that they're going to have to rely on that experience here to try to get back into this game.
I think that game was 3 weeks ago tonight, Dave, and as you said, we were here, and boy, the conditions were miserable. It was raining heavily at the beginning of the game and remained so through most of the game. And as you mentioned, the Braves got down early to Reading, 14-0, and that was some new ground for the Braves. At that point, they had worked their way back and were ultimately successful in winning that game. But it was a test then, and it looks like we're going to have that same test this evening.
Number 4, Ben Carl, the kicker for Roger Bacon, gets ready for his 3rd kickoff of the evening and boots this one to the 40-yard line. And number 20 for the Braves, Shea Donovan, gets that ball and moves it up to about the 35-yard line before he's brought down. Again, pretty good starting position for the Braves, and let's see if Sherpy can do something with the ball on this offensive series.
The 1st and 10 Braves from their own 34-yard line, just about 35-yard line. 7:39 remaining in the first quarter. A lot of scoring so far, only halfway through the first quarter.
Hand off up the gut to Case Cousineau, who this time is successful on a pretty good run there, Greg, of about 8 yards as he makes his way over the right tackle position. That's Alex Becker and Pete Carr territory. They do a good job blocking on that side.
They really do a great job. A great tandem on that side. Braves like to go that way. Nice run by Case. Made the first man miss, and he got a little open field and made the best of it.
2nd and 2 now for Sherpy and the Indian Hills Braves offensive unit as number 5, Danny Johnson, goes in motion, and we'll try that play again, and that play will work again as number 2, Case Cousineau, moves his way up into Roger Bacon Spartan territory at about the 49-yard line. This time went to the left side of the field. That's Jim Thomas and Chase Daniels territory, and they open up a hole as well.
Left side doesn't want to be outdone by the right side. Nice hole on the left side this time for Case. A nice pickup, and we talked about him being the featured back for the Braves, surely for the second half of the season, and he just continues to do a great job.
I'm sure Paul Wardeman would also want us to mention number 74, Joe Wardeman. He's blocking back there too, doing a great job. And this time Sherpy made that pass out there either to John Spatz or to Jake Kendall. Pass goes incomplete as Sherpy paid the price for stepping up in the pocket, but did a good job of getting that ball off.
That was a coverage incompletion there, I think, Dave. The coverage was real good that time. Sherpy just couldn't find anybody. Even though he had good protection, he had some time, he just couldn't find anybody open. So ball falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 for the Braves.
Number 1 and number 3 are Jake Kendall and Andrew Kiriakis. They're off to the left. Number 6 and number 9 are Spatz and Tolliver. They're to the right. Sherpy's back to pass, and he's able to get the ball there to number 6, Drew Tolliver. Another great catch down to about the 34-yard line, Greg. And
there's a big-time catch, Dave. Look at that.
And that's a good example of Sherpy taking what the defense gave him. He was looking deep. Give credit to Tolliver. He came back to an open end of the field. Sherpy saw him, and a big gain for us.
Great job by both of those young men. Michael to get outside, buy a little extra time. Great job by Drew to work his way back towards his quarterback and get open. And nice little foot dance on the sideline there to get his foot in bounds and make that a reception.
Michael Scherpenberg, number 15, back in the shotgun, which trips to the left, and this time Case Cousineau tries to go to the right and gets tripped up a little bit there, maybe up by his own man's foot as he falls forward for about maybe 1.5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and about, I'll call it 8, Greg.
Not too much up the middle there on that one. I think you're right, Dave. It looked like Case tripped over a leg off of one of his Braves linemen there. So, yeah, we'll call it 2nd and 9.
And we'll try that again, and this time it'll be Michael Scherpenberg that does the old quarterback sneak, and I'll tell you, a great fake there by Case Cousineau as a bunch of Spartans were keying on him, and I don't know what they were thinking Sherpy was doing, because he doesn't go into the defensive side of the field too often unless he's got the ball, and that was an occasion where he was able to get us a first down. What a great play.
That's a great call by Coach Seipel there. They'd run it several times to Case, as the viewers have seen, and fake it to Case and let Michael go out around the left side. That was a nice call and resulted in a Braves first down.
Braves have the ball now on about the 23-yard line, and we're going to hand off to Danny Johnson on the right side, and Danny is able to wiggle out of the first attempt to bring him down behind the line of scrimmage and really get something from nothing there, Greg, on a pretty good individual effort by Dan. He had a couple of guys over there blocking for him, but picked up looks like about 3-4 yards, 2nd down territory.
Danny was able to use his speed there to get around the corner. It didn't look like he was going to make it at first, but put those afterburners on, that little extra burst of speed got him around the corner there. So that was a nice gain of 3. That's a nice first down gain.
2nd and 7 now for Mike Scherpenberg and the Indian Hill Braves as we see number 9, John Spatz, make his way to the right, and flags are flying all over the field. That's normally an indication that there's either an illegal procedure on the Braves, which it is. That's going to march us back 5 yards. And Greg, when you're able to establish an offensive series like the Braves have done to kind of quiet down Roger Bacon and take the enthusiasm out of the game, you don't want to see a penalty hurt you.
Yeah, penalties at this level can be costly, and playoffs are the time that you want to be at your very, very best. You don't want to give the other guy anything, so that 5-yard penalty sets the Braves back and makes it 2nd and 12.
Danny Johnson, number 5, goes in motion. Sherp back to pass over the middle, and number 1, Jake Kendall makes a great catch. He pays the price and is walloped over there by a Roger Bacon Spartan, whose number I didn't see. And man, you got to tip your hat to that player who really put a hit on Jake, but give credit to him. He held on to the ball for a big gain. Looks like it's a first down. We're knocking on the door.
Yeah, Jake saw that coming. He knew he was going to get hit after he caught that ball, so he did a great job of looking that ball in, concentrate on making the catch, and then holding on once the hit came. But nice defensive play by Roger Bacon. Just Indian Hill was a little bit better on that play.
Number 6, Drew Tolliver, goes in motion. The fake handoff to him. Everybody coming. And number 3, Andrew Karyakis, was able to bring that ball in on a great pass and a great catch by those 2 young men, Sherp to Karyakis. And the Braves are on the scoreboard now, Greg, 6-0. We're going to bring out number 32, Matt Merritt. The Braves are on the scoreboard, losing now 15-6. We're going to bring out number 32, Matt Merritt, to cut that lead even more. And now the Braves have shown the Spartans that they can play football as well.
That's the kind of drive we're used to seeing from the Braves right there, Dave. And we talked about Andrew Karyakis, and he doesn't have a lot of catches, but they're always big catches. And Andrew does a great job. You know, when you need a big catch, he always seems to be there, and he's open, and he's sure-handed as can be. So great job by Andrew. Again, great job by Michael Sherpenberg. We've talked so much about him, and we're going to be doing it all night, I'm sure, that he rolls out, he slides just as much as he needs to slide, avoid the pressure, give himself just a little extra time, give his receiver just a little extra time to clear, and boom, that's what you get, 6 points.
And I'll tell you, that great catch by Andrew Karyakis and that extra point conversion by number 32, Matt Merritt, has served to put the crowd back into this game, Greg. They were a little stunned, the Braves partisan, as they're not used to seeing their Braves fall behind like they did, but now it appears that the Braves offensive unit has started to click, and let's hope that our defense can step it up, shut down the Spartans, get the ball back, and score again.
Absolutely, Dave. That definitely put the life into the crowd. We got a huge crowd here tonight, playoff-size crowd. When the fence is lined up all the way around as it is tonight, we know we got a packed house.
Here goes number 32, Matt Merritt, with the kickoff, and he's going to squib it. It goes through the hands of the first man, and their second running back is able to pick the ball up, is number 21, Dante Swain, who ran that first one back for a touchdown. This time, not as successful as he gets back up to the 30-yard line, but tackled by the Braves special teams unit. And now the Braves defense have to step it up, Greg.
Time for the defense to do its thing. Just talking about Matt Merritt for a second, Dave, we wondered how his leg was tonight, and we've seen 2 kicks now. Those aren't the Matt Merritt kicks that we're used to seeing from earlier in the season. He put the ball down on the goal line and oftentimes in the end zone on the kickoff. So looks like Matt might still be a little tender on that leg. Good pressure by the Braves.
Rocco's back, and he's still able to scramble there, Greg, and pick up about 5 yards as the Braves are having to go back into pass coverage and cover a lot of receivers. Pretty good job of pursuing there by a number of Braves players to shut Rocco down and not allow him to get a first down like he did the last time he scrambled.
Yeah, Kirk does a nice job getting out of the pocket when he doesn't have anyone open. He pulls it down and takes off. He does a good job of making something out of nothing. That was another good example there. He picks up 5 on first down, so we got 2nd and 5, Dave.
Number 22, Demetrius Toombs, is back in the backfield with Kurt Rocco, who's back to pass again. He's got a long pass and another almost great catch there by number 7, their talented receiver, David Stevens, but he's unable to bring the ball in. Pretty good coverage on that side by the Braves, Greg.
Good coverage by Shea Donovan that time.
And Greg, well, while we're waiting here, let's watch a replay of that Indian Hill Braves touchdown, the exciting pass from Sherpy to Andrew Karyakis.
Bingo. Beautiful catch by Andrew. That's 6 points. Back to live action, Dave.
Rocco back again, and everybody's coming. And Greg, I'll tell you who made that play was number 34, Kevin McFarland. He was blitzing in uncovered. Rocco saw him. Rocco got the ball off. but he paid a big price as Kevin came in and put a big licking on him. And tip your hat to the Braves defense. We're getting the ball back, 3:01 to go. Pretty soon it's going to be a closer score than it is right now.
Here come the Braves. Good job by Kevin there. Kevin's done a great job all season, anchoring the middle. And of course, the captain of the Braves defense.
And
great job on the blitz there.
Number 2, Case Cousineau. Number 1, Jake Kendall back. And Cousineau going to get the ball again as he goes back to the 25-yard line, slips a little bit, which allows some Purcell players to get in on him, and makes his way back up to the 25-yard line. Pretty good kick there by the Spartans, Greg, to put us back on the 25-yard line. We'll have to see what Sherp and his boys can do with the ball on this series.
Nice punt there by the Spartans. Nice hang time on that. Didn't give Case too much time to get a run back set up. Oftentimes the Braves will do that reverse with Jake, Kendall, and Case back for punt coverage, and they weren't really able to do it that time. So here we go, 1st and 10 Braves.
Michael Scherpenberg is going to send number 5, Dan Johnson, in motion. They're going to hand off up the middle to Case Cousineau, who maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe just a bit more, as the ball's going to be placed on about the 21 or 26-yard line, rather. It'll be 2nd down at about 9 for the Braves. And Greg, you know, they say that the pass sets up the run and the run sets up the pass. Not sure which one came first, the chicken or the egg, but the Braves need to do something here with either the pass or the run to get a 1st down. Scherpenberg will fake a handoff, and he's able to get the ball away as he gets hit, and our receiver, number 5, Danny Johnson, gets hit, and the ball falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd down at about 9, Greg.
Not a lot there for Michael that time. He was able to find Danny Johnson, but Danny had a couple of guys around him. He was having to thread the needle on that one to get it in to Danny's. That would have been a tough catch to pull that one in. So good defense again by the Spartans. Brings up 3rd and 9 for the Braves.
Michael Scherpenberg sends 3 receivers to the right side of the field, and he's going to run that little screen out to Case Cousineau, who maybe gets up to the 30-yard line and is wrapped out of bounds. It'll be 4th and 5. And Greg, we're going to probably see something that we haven't seen all year, or a lot this year rather, and that is a Braves punt, as it looks like number 20 for the Indian Hill Braves,
Shea Donovan
is going to be back in punt formation for the Braves. Number 21, the talented running back for Roger Bacon, Dante Swain, is back deep for them, as the ball snapped back to Shea, and he does a great job of getting that ball up high, and a fair catch there by Dante Swan, and the Spartans will take the ball there on about the 37-yard line, Greg.
That was a good defensive stand by the Spartans that time. Nice 3rd down play by number 91, Ted Schwabel, a senior defensive lineman for the Spartans, 6'3", 230. Good job of tracking down one Case Cousineau on that 3rd down run, or that probably was a screen pass there just a moment ago.
1:52 left in the 1st quarter of this game, and now Kurt Rocco goes back to passes. He is looking, and Greg, an incomplete pass to number 22.
Got a flag down too, Dave.
Demetrius Toombs would have been called back anyway, as I think the old hold bug is going to get the Roger Bacon Spartans. Is when your quarterback's got that much time, somebody's not doing something right.
A little holding on that one, I think. I don't know. I might have seen a couple of Spartans guilty on that one.
Well, Greg,
flag came out quickly. Ref had no doubt about it.
They say that a ref could probably call hold on every play, offensive play, as normally a lineman is grabbing onto somebody, but normally they got to be flagrant ones, and apparently this one was, and that's good news for the Braves, as it's going to be more than a 10-yard hold. Looks like the infraction is going to take them all the way back to about the 23-yard line. A pretty big penalty, is now they got to get up to the 47-yard line to get a 1st down. That's a long way.
Right, Dave. High school football measured from the point of the foul, so it's 10 yards from the spot, and that results in maybe a 15 or 20-yard penalty.
And they're going to come outside with number 4 and try to run the ball, do the Spartans, number 4 being Ben Carl, who is the talented running back and also a pretty good place kicker for him. And Carl picks up a little bit of yards there and turns a 1st and long into a 2nd and a little shorter, but still a 2nd and long, Greg.
He's up about a 2nd and 20 now, Dave, for the Spartans. We see Kurt Rocco in the shotgun formation again.
About time for a Braves defensive turnover here as Rocco goes back to pass again, and this time number 5, Danny Johnson, is not able to bring the ball in, and number 21, Dante Swan, or Swain rather, is able to bring the ball in and is able to go down for another Roger Bacon touchdown there, Greg. Looked like Danny came over to try to make a play on the ball, and you got to give Rocco credit. Man, he threaded the needle and put it only where Swain could catch it. Swain did the rest. He's a speedy guy, and really there wasn't anybody back there to catch him once he caught the ball and stayed in bounds. And now the Braves find themselves down 2 touchdowns again.
I think that was a speed touchdown there, Dave. He just flat out ran the Indian Hill defense. As the extra point is no good.
And Greg, that's a little bit of good news as we're finally back on
right, Dave.
Finally back on track now as Purcell was able to score that 2-point conversion at the beginning of the game, and we were going to have to match that at some point if we tied him in touchdowns. We're now down by 14 points. We're going to get the ball back. There's about 57 seconds left in the 1st quarter. Once again, the Braves offense has to dust themselves off and march down the field and score.
Braves going to find themselves down by, or they do find themselves down by 14 again, and going to have to put together another drive and get the ball back down the other end of the field. But they played short field that time with the 3 and out. A nice punt by Shea, but still some pretty decent field position for Roger Bacon that time. And even with their holding call, they were able to come back with a big gain. That speed kills. Number 21, Dante Swain, is showing his speed down that sideline.
Number 4, Ben Carl, kicks off again, and Case Cousineau comes up to field the ball at the 20 with those legs churning, and they fell out from underneath him. And credit that tackle to the 20-yard line, Greg, is once you're down,
monster.
Once you're down on the ground in high school football, you're down, and so we're going to get the ball at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because it looked like Case was going to be able to mount a return. Surely something past the 20-yard line. In any event, Braves take over on their 20, 1st and 10, with about 55 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter, Dave.
Mike Scherpenberg sends number 5, Danny Johnson, in motion to the left side of the field. He's going to pass to the right, and number 1, Jake Kendall, is able to pull that ball in right around the 1st down marker, maybe a little shy there, about a yard, Greg. It'll be 2nd down and 9. A nice comeback by Jake on that play. He also, although it's early in the game, is able to stop the clock.
Nice catch by Jake, again along the sideline, the far sideline from our vantage point. Just about a 1st down. Looks like he was past the marker, and as he came back for the reception, he was forced out of bounds just short of the 1st down. So call it 2nd and 1, probably about 2nd and a foot.
We'll give this ball to Michael Scherpenberg again. As I'll tell you, he does a good job of running that fake, and we're going to have to give Case Cousineau an Emmy or an Oscar because guys are keying on him when he runs that fake, Greg. A good job, responsible for Mike, or helping Mike get out to the right side of the field. We've got a player down on the field and got a trainer out there. Let's hope it's nothing serious.
Absolutely right, Dave. Case did a great job of selling that one. He had, I think, the entire stadium faked out. I know he faked out several of the Roger Bacon Spartans that time as he was tackled in the backfield without the ball. And we have a injured player down on the field. We can't see his number right now, one of the Spartans.
Greg, a good sign is number 91.
We had talked about
Scheibel
Ted Schwabel talked about Ted before, made a great play on Case Cousineau on that third down a couple of series ago.
You can always tell a good player by the number of knots he's got on his helmet. He's got a bunch of them there, and he's able to get up, and he gets a very polite round of applause from the Braves fans who appreciate good athletes, as Scheibel is. And Greg, as Scheibel has to go off for that play, let's take advantage of that and make a big play here.
First down Braves. We've got a drive working here. Let's see what Michael and Case and company can engineer. First, Michael back in the shotgun as per usual.
Andrew Kiriakis.
Hand up the middle. Should be Case Cousineau in that pile. It's hard to see him in there. There he is. Number 2 gets up. Little razzle-dazzle by Indian Hill. Looked like Andrew was going to get the ball coming around to the right side, Dave, but it was up the gut with Case Cousineau.
A great timing play there, Greg, and what I started to say as Case took the ball up the gut and I stopped was it's impressive to watch how these slot backs and receivers can work in conjunction with Michael Scherpenberg and the running back. They all have to do certain things as the first quarter comes to an end and the Braves find themselves down 21-7 in this exciting game. But it's pretty impressive to see how these guys are able to bring it all together on a play like that. It was a good job for a 3-yard pickup for the Braves.
Great first half of football. As we see the score on the screen, Roger Bacon 20, Indian Hill 7. It should be 21 maybe, guys. It says 27 on the screen, but so we know it's 21-7 Roger Bacon. A lot of excitement in the first half. It's a playoff football game. A little more high-powered from the Roger Bacon side than we were led to believe. They come in allegedly as a running team, or mostly as a running team, and they do their damage with the pass, Dave.
Well, Greg, you know, when you start the playoffs, one of the things we heard Coach Seipel talk about at before the game was it's a one-and-done atmosphere, this playoff, this march to Canton, and everybody comes out with their best. They try to do things to make themselves better, and you've got to tip your hat to the Spartans, who have really come out and showed me a lot this evening with some pretty good offensive passes. We talk about Sherpy, but this Rocco kid's a pretty good quarterback as well.
Kurt Rocco's done a great job in the first quarter. I'm sure that the Roger Bacon coaches are delighted with the performance of their team in the first quarter.
Scherpenberg back again, and he's going to find number 9, Spatz. Over on the side, ball goes through his arms, and maybe a late hit over there as he paid the price for having the courage to catch that ball, but nothing called there, Greg, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 7 to go.
That might have been a good no call. He was awfully close to out of bounds, but that was kind of a judgment, I guess, by the referee right in front of the Indian Hill bench, so you know you're going to get a lot of reaction from that hit.
Big 3rd down play now here for the Braves as Mike Scherpenberg's got receivers split to the right, to the left. He is going to hand off to
Michael Scherpenberg.
Another fake there, Greg. I got to tell you, Case Cousineau did another great job of bringing that ball outside, and Michael Scherpenberg ran a draw right up the middle and picked up the 1st down. That's working out to be a pretty good play.
Yeah, that really is. We've got some first quarter stats now. Rushing, Roger Bacon, 23 yards on 6 carries. Indian Hill, 47 yards rushing in the first quarter on 9 attempts. Passing is the key, though, Dave. Passing yards, Roger Bacon, 118 yards in the first quarter, 82 for Indian Hill. That's the difference in the game so far.
You know, Greg, as we look at the 1st down play, and this time it's a pass over to number 5, Danny Johnson, who squiggles across the 40-yard line of the Spartans to make it about a 2nd down and 5, maybe 2nd down and 6-yard play to go. I was looking at stats. You're talking about how Roger Bacon's running team, they're passing tonight. You know, Sherpy's not a big runner. He's a passer, and he's really handled the load here tonight running. He's got to have a number of yards running so far on his own.
Yeah, he had 2 carries in the first quarter for a total of 24 yards. So he's averaging 12 yards per carry. Not bad for the young man. wearing number 15.
And he's going to take the ball back as the whole kitchen sink comes in.
Nice
Number
job.
1, Jake Kendall, was able to bring that ball in down on about the 25-yard line, 27-yard line they're going to mark it at. A really fine catch by Jake as he comes across the middle. I will tell you this, Greg, there's some hitting going on both sides.
It's a tough physical game. There's no question about that. This is the playoffs, and these boys have come ready to play. Nice catch by Jake. Jake had 2 catches in the first quarter, Dave, for a total of 25 yards. Drew Tolliver led the Braves with 2 catches for a total of 43 yards. Andrew Kyriakis, his 9-yard touchdown catch, and Case Cousineau 1 catch for 5 yards.
Kyriakis goes in motion, and Sherpy holds onto the ball, and he's able to
look out,
get it away and close to number 5, Danny Johnson, before he is attacked by some Roger Bacon Spartans. Look like number 30 for Roger Bacon, Greg. Marsalis Burgeon was one of the players that was breathing down Sherpy's neck, and it was all he could do to get rid of the ball.
And Michael held on to that one for a while. He probably made Coach Seipel nervous on that one. Held on to it as long as he could. Just couldn't get enough mustard on that one. Throwing off of his back foot, falling away, and rolling to his left. Michael being a right-handed passer. So that'll bring up a 2nd and 10, Dave.
2nd and 10 on about the 27-yard line. We're going to hand off again, and this time it's going to be that Michael Scherpenberg fake, and this time didn't work as well. Still picked up a couple of yards, Greg. It'll be 3rd down and maybe 7 yards, 8 yards to go. Call it on about the 25-yard line. Need to get down to about the 17-yard line, looks like.
A good play by the Roger Bacon defense that time. Number 33, Chad Kester, wasn't fooled by the fakes in the backfield that time for Indian Hill, and stayed at home, was able to bring Michael down for just a very short gain. Let's call it 3rd and 8.
3rd down and 8 now for the Braves, as they're probably in 2-down territory, being down 2 touchdowns. Nice pass out into the flat is incomplete to number 9, John Spatz. Is again a little bit of pressure by number 91, Ted Scheibel, as he's able to get in the backfield. Looked like number 57, Chase Daniels, was able to hold him up a little bit, but an incomplete pass and a 4th and 8, a big play here, Greg.
Yeah, Chase has got his hands full with number 91, Dave. That's a quality football player on the other side. Chase has done a good job so far. Number 57, that's the left tackle on the Braves offensive line. So let's see what the Braves can do here on 4th and 8.
Sherp goes back to pass once again and is able to fire that one out in the flat, but to the ground it goes, and it falls incomplete, and our defensive unit's going to have to make a stand again, Greg, as we get the ball down there knocking on the door, unable to get into the red zone, unable to score. We've got to change that.
A couple of passes by Michael Scherpenberg off to the left side there in that left flat area that just didn't find their mark. So Braves go on defense. 1st and 10 Spartans at their own 25-yard line.
And Greg, we got a problem there as 12 men are out on the field for the Braves. Some confusion about who's supposed to be out there. Forces number 5, Danny Johnson, does the right thing. He calls a timeout as he quickly counts and realizes that that would have been a penalty. That's not what Coach Seipel wants to see with 9:13 left in the first half. We've got to find a way to stop these guys. We've shown that we can score against them. We've shown that we can hold them, but they're a good team. They're playing hard, and we've got to step up.
Braves need to step it up a notch here, that's for sure, Dave. Time for the defense to make a play. Braves takeaway here would surely warm Coach Seipel's heart and all the Braves fans. Roger Bacon has been a pretty sure-handed team thus far, and from what we've heard, doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Well, they've got trips right and receiver to the left, one back in the backfield, and they're going to try their version of the Case Cousineau run up the gut, and this time their running back number 22 for Roger Bacon. Demetrius Toombs is able to get a couple of yards, but your favorite player there, Greg, number 54, Michael Schmidt, is able to stop him.
Good job by the Braves there to keep that from getting away. 2nd and 5. About the same play there. Good job by the Braves offensive line. Number 54 in there again.
Greg, on that play, you saw the quarterback Kurt Rocco go up under center for, I think, what was the first time in the game so far on the Spartans side of the ball. They went to the traditional quarterback hike, gets the ball from the center and hands off. Doesn't work for him. He's going back to the shotgun on 3rd and 4.
Big 3rd and 4. Ball's in the air. Complete.
Greg, that was a fortuitous catch there by the receiver for
It's number 4,
Roger
Ben
Bacon.
Carl.
Ben Carl. There were 3 Braves there. Looked like they were all converging for the pick. A good job of knocking that ball up in the air by our Braves defender. I didn't see his number, was a linebacker, and thought that the Braves had the opportunity to get that ball for that turnover that you had ordered up, but not to be. And a good catch there by the Bacon player, and now they've got the ball 1st and 10 on the 44. And Greg, an overthrow, a rare overthrow by Rocco there, is almost picked off by number 20, Shea Donovan.
Shea Donovan. That might be the first. That might be the first. Sorry, Dave, to interrupt you. That might be the first errant pass that we've seen from Kurt Rocco this evening. He missed the target on that one, but I think that's the first one.
2nd down and 10 now for Rocco and his Roger Bacon Spartans as they stop the clock on that incomplete pass and find themselves with 7:33 left in the first half, up 21-7. Rocco back to pass again, and that ball is just thrown
just over
past the
outstretched reach.
You said it, Greg, of
In
number
NFL
21.
terms, number 21, that's Dante Swain. And we've seen that speed from Dante already this evening. Dante is a senior, 5'7", 150 on the sheet. He doesn't look 150 from up here, but
he might have been going
a quality player.
He might have been running 150 miles an hour on that play. He's a very fast player. 3rd down now and 10 for Kurt Rocco, and
little confusion in the Braves defense again, Dave. I see a timeout called by number 5, Danny Johnson.
There was some confusion about who was covering whom, and Danny, again, you don't want to burn those timeouts needlessly, but Danny recognizes that you don't want to give Rocco a wide open receiver. He's shown he can get the ball to the guy. They want to make sure they have the right coverage because this is a big 3rd down play.
Yeah, better safe than sorry on this big 3rd down, middle of the field. Braves would really like to get the ball back on downs here, hold the Spartans where they are, and of course hopefully get some positive field position. Start
Greg,
to win the battle of the field position a little bit.
With this timeout, we're seeing the Braves defensive coordinator, Coach Mike Tyson, who's just done a super job with his defensive unit this year, out on the field giving his Braves some instruction that hopefully they can use to capitalize on this 3rd down play, and if not get the ball on a turnover, at least force Rocco and his Spartans to punt so we get the ball back.
Coach Tyson does a great job on defense. Of course, a former NFL player himself, great linebacker with the Oakland Raiders and some others in the NFL some years ago. Boys are lucky to have him out there.
14.
He hauls off and
Was able
fires
to
it.
throw that ball a mile, a country mile, but incomplete there as it's out of bounds to the intended receiver. And
Good
Greg,
job by Kurt Rocco that time. I bet he threw that ball 50 yards in the air, Dave. He showed us the strength of his arm.
You know, he's an impressive young man there, Greg. We of course are accustomed to seeing Mike Scherpenberg do it all on offense. Rocco's got a pretty good arm there too, and fortunately that was incomplete. Now we're going to get the ball back as the punt lands out of bounds, and we have to see where the refs mark it. Pretty much where it went out of bounds at about the, looks like the 29-yard line. Mike Scherpenberg and his Indian Hill Braves offensive unit was 7-13 in this first half. Is going to get the ball back. Greg, you know, the beauty about Mike Scherpenberg and his offense, we've seen it week in and week out, is we can score very fast. We don't really need 2 scores here. It'd be nice to be tied at halftime with these guys and maybe go in and retool and figure out a way to shut them down in the second half. But if we were able to get 1 score here and hold them, 21-14 wouldn't be a bad way to go into the second half. Sherp is back, and he's got the ball out there, and number 9, John Spatz, is hit. And John, he's going to get a flag right there as he was hit by the defenders, and I don't think it was an intentional act on the young man's part. I think he was not really sure where the ball was, and he ran into Spatz and caused that interference. A big penalty for us, and that's going to give us a first down.
Looks like he just caught his hand coming up. I don't know if we'll be able to get another look at that or not, but looks like the Roger Bacon defender might have caught John Spatz's hand on the way up and caused that flag to come out. We'll see.
Well, you know, Greg, one of the
from the line of scrimmage in high school.
There it is right there as you're watching it on the play, and you can see 42.
He just had his hand in there. That might just have been enough to cause the flag to be thrown. Good job by our IHTN crew to bring that to us for another look.
Well, here we go now,
guys.
Here we go now, Greg. Back to live action. It's going to be a timeout on the ref side of the field.
Timeout on the field.
Instant replay timeout.
I don't think so.
No, we're just kidding. We don't have that here, thankfully. We're back to live action. I think they had to get the first down marker set. So here we go, Braves 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Braves 43.
This could be Cousineau up the right side, and a big gain over there for number 2, Case Cousineau, as he runs right and gets to about the 40-yard line for a big gain of first down, and we're starting to move the ball again, Greg.
That's what we've come used to seeing from Case. Great job. He just weaves his way through that secondary and makes guys miss. Big run. 1st and 10 Braves.
Mike Scherpenberg now is going to try that play again, and Case is able to maybe pick up 2 yards as he gets down to about the 39-yard line, Greg, and looked like number 39, Chris Trimbach, was in on the tackle there, and
Case Cousineau on the run for the Braves picks up about 2 yards. Second out and 8 for the Braves. Starts 39-yard line.
second down now, Greg, and 8 yards to go for the Braves as Mike Scherpenberg again will get the ball and go back to pass.
Blitz.
A little bit of pressure.
Oh.
And not able to get the ball off wisely. Didn't
Big
throw the ball there, Greg.
Braves,
I guess he was concerned that maybe might be called for intentional grounding. Of course, if that happens, you lose the down. And I think what Scherp is looking at is, okay, I've got 3rd and long, 3rd and 20, but I can still get a first. Maybe get 10 on the first play or more, but definitely if we can get the ball back across the 45-yard line, it'll be 2-down territory.
I think we've got 2 to make it, as you're suggesting, Dave. So let's get about half of it back here and the other half on 4th down. See if Michael can weave some of his magic here. Late
back
blitz this time.
Stays in the pocket and
look out.
Is unable to hit his receiver as Greg again pressure caused Mike, even though the Spartans weren't on him, pressure caused Mike to throw the ball a little quicker than he wanted to. he got it lofted a little higher than he wanted to and overthrew his intended receiver. There was a Spartan back there who was able to wrestle it in and get the ball down on the 18-yard line. All in all, kind of like a punt, really.
It operates as a punt with the ball down about the 17-yard line for the Spartans. Not quite the way Coach Seipel would have wanted to draw it up, but worked with regard to field position anyway. Got the Spartans backed up just a little bit.
And now, number 14, Kurt Rocco, again under center, tries to go up the gut in the traditional way, and I'll tell you, Greg, number 22 for Roger Bacon, Demetrius Toombs, was hit behind the line of scrimmage. I thought he was going to be lucky to get a 1-yard gain. Give him credit. He did a spin job on whoever was trying to bring him down and was able to get a first down and bring the ball out to the 31-yard line. Braves have to wrap those guys up.
Did a good job of keeping his legs moving there, Dave, and kept fighting for that yardage. Good run by Roger Bacon.
Rocco back in the shotgun, and he'll hand off again, and first tackler misses. Second tackler, number 8, Chris Goody, is able to bring him down. He does pick up about 7 yards, Greg. Going to be, call it 6 yards, going to be second down and 4.
That was Demetrius Toombs again for Roger Bacon. Picks up about 5, as Dave said. Nice first down run for Roger Bacon. We've got quarterback under center here. Haven't seen much of that. Straight ahead. Good old-fashioned straight ahead dive football there.
Smash mouth football, Greg, and they pick up 3 of the needed 4 or 5 yards for the first down. Going to be third down and about 1 to go. And we'll have to see if our Braves can step it up here, get low, and put a stop to this drive and get the ball back.
I think we have a referee's timeout for a measurement. That carry there was, again, Demetrius Toombs, number 22 for Roger Bacon. Looks like he may have been stopped just short. Just short about. Referee indicates about 8 or 9 inches short. So it'll be third down. The scoreboard will call it 1, but it's only about 9 or 10 inches.
Up about 4 yards. Third down. Now 1.
Kurt Rocco brings the Roger Bacon Spartans to the line. Looks like he's going to be under center here, Dave, which again we haven't seen much of this evening. Just may be a quarterback sneak here. Sure enough.
Greg, looks like he got
Second
it.
effort. I think he did.
That second effort. And in fact, he does as the referee calls for the first down. And to move the chains and give Roger Bacon some credit, there was a pretty tough defensive array coming at them, and their linemen were still able to move the ball the 9 inches or 10 inches you mentioned necessary to get that first down.
42-yard line.
Timeout on the field. Looks like a referee's timeout.
Not on the field.
Looks like it's a problem with that chain again, Greg, is maybe it's kinking a little bit. Maybe that's the reason the Spartans have been so successful this first half, is maybe they only have to go about 9.5 yards instead of 10.
A couple of links are missing on that side over there. Yeah, it looks like the referee has the problem corrected. We go back to live action, 1st and 10. Roger Bacon.
I don't think that's the case, as Rocco could make 9 or make 11, whatever he needed. He's back to pass, and
a lot of time
pass
there.
off, and another good catch by their receiver.
Good job by the Roger Bacon offensive line there to give Kurt Rocco plenty of time to throw. He had what seemed like all day back there. And, good job of his receiver.
That was Ben Carl, number 4, the kicker, and he did a good job. Again, Danny Johnson all over him. I thought Danny had a better shot at that ball than Carl did, but somehow Carl again came up with it. And it gives the Spartans another first down here on about the 47-yard line. 2 backs now come back into the shotgun backfield with Rocco, and he's looking long, and
There's that speed again.
I'll tell you, Greg, another great pass by Rocco as he throws it where only his intended receiver, number 89, Sam Mitchell, could catch it. Luckily, it bounced before Sam caught the ball, and it's going to be 2nd and 10, but a pretty good pass there by Rocco.
That was close. That was a great job by Kurt Rocco to lay that ball out there and give his receiver and only his receiver a chance to catch it. That ball was either going to be caught or fall incomplete. It wasn't going to fall into the hands of an Indian Hill Brave. So another good job by Kurt Rocco. We've been impressed with his play so far this evening.
2nd down now at 10 for Rocco and the Spartans as he's going to throw out in the flat. Refs are going to call that incomplete, but number 1, Jake Kendall, makes sure as could have been a lateral, and I'll tell you on that play, looked like Dante Swain, if he caught the ball, wasn't going to get far, as I think number 2, Case Cousineau, was over there right on top of him.
I saw Jake Kendall in the area as well. That ball was a forward pass. We're situated right on the 47-yard line. We can look right down the line and can see that that ball was in fact a forward pass, so no lateral.
Big 3rd and 10, and
flags and a whistle.
Flags are abounding, and hopefully that's going to be an illegal procedure against Roger Bacon and move them back 5 yards. Could also be an encroachment, as that's a dead ball foul, but it is against the Spartans, Greg. Move them back 5 yards and make it a little harder to get that 1st down.
Moves them back into their own territory. Moves the ball back to the Roger Bacon 47-yard line.
Greg, you know,
Big third down, Dave.
Up by 14. If they don't get the 1st down here, got to believe they're going to punt, as they don't want to give the Braves a chance of having a ball in good field position. And let's hope that's the case.
Need a big rush here. Need a big rush from the Braves.
Number 21, the intended receiver, Dante Swain, falls to the ground. The ball falls uncaught. It's 4th and 15. We're going to get the ball back with 3:35 to go, Greg.
Good job by the defense that time on 3rd down. Good pressure on Kurt Rocco. Also some good coverage. Ball falls to the ground incomplete. Brings up 4th down. 4th and 15. And let's see if Jake or Case can get a return out of this one, Dave.
Number 4, Ben Carl, boots the ball again. It's going to go to number 1, Jake Kendall, who is able to wiggle free of the first wave of Spartans and then get thrown out of bounds.
Nice block by number 3, Andrew Kyriakis, out there on the right side to give Jake just a little bit of room. Let him pick up a few extra yards.
Greg, several weeks ago in a game that the Braves played against Reading, they had about 1:30 to go in the 1st half, and Michael Scherpenberg and his team were able to work passes and runs and use all of that 1 minute and 30 seconds, but were able to score. 3:24 is a lot of time for him.
Yeah, that's a lot of time. We've seen Michael do it in a minute and a half, as you said, Dave. This would be a nice time to run out the rest of the clock in the quarter and put 7 points on the board.
Case Cousineau up the middle for about a 5-yard gain, maybe a 6-yard gain, as they mark it a little farther than it appeared he had gotten up here, and that's going to be good news for the Braves. If that run can start opening up, Greg, in the 2nd half, that's going to give Mike a little more time when he goes back to pass.
All right, 2nd and 5. Let's see what the Braves can do here. Looks like an out. Just a little high, just a little over the outstretched hands of Andrew Kyriakis.
Number 67 there for the Spartans, Greg, was in on the coverage. Looks like Tony Crow is his name, and Tony was the kid that was responsible for knocking a pass down earlier in the night, and had some good coverage there on Andrew. It's going to be 3rd down and about 5 to go now for the Braves. And Sherpy is
No, ground can't cause the fumble, as the referee is so indicating. Let's see
Greg,
what
that's
kind of a spot Michael gets here. Let's watch the foot of the referee. We need to get to the 39.
Didn't get a very good spot as the ball was out a little farther, but
first down. I agree, David. Wasn't a very good spot, but we got the first down anyway, so we'll take it.
that's all we need.
That's on a back foot, front foot. You know, you never know which foot they're going to place it on. I think the ref placed it on his back foot there, but that's all right. We'll take it. First down.
We're at kind of a little bit of an angle here, Greg, on this play, so what looks like to us where the ball might not have been fair to say the refs didn't put it down in the right spot, but they gave us the first
Blitz.
down, and Sherpy able to get the ball out to number 5, Danny Johnson, over there at about the 46-yard line, and he's able to get out of bounds and stop the clock with 2:12 to go.
Yeah, we always like to joke about the back foot, front foot with the refs, but they do a great job, and they spotted the ball correctly on that last play.
For a gain of about 6 yards.
Another nice throw by Michael Scherpenberg. Picks up 6 on first down, spotted just ahead of the Braves 45-yard line. 2nd and 4.
Sherp's back to pass and looking.
Whoa.
And man, I'll tell you, number 91
Crowd's upset.
tackled number 2, Case Cousineau, long before
He had the ball.
he had the ball or even had a chance at the ball, and you can hear the Indian Hill Braves coaches up here in the booth
Coaches up here in the booth
talking
are
to
fuming. They're
their
hot.
coaches through the
They're ready
microphones,
to come
trying to get
through
them
the
to
wall over here.
tell those referees that you can't tackle the guy until
Well,
he's
that's
got the
holding,
ball.
Dave. Yeah, that's holding. That's no different than if the receiver's out in the pass pattern. You grab him, you hold on to him, and don't let him run his route. So
But as the Spartans say, it's only holding if you get caught. It's 3rd and 4 right now. The Braves now faced with
just a little over 2 minutes to go in the half.
the obligation of trying to get a first down again, and Case Cousineau is going to get close, but it's going to be a little short now, Greg. 4th down and about 1 yard to go as the refs are going to call timeout. We're going to have to see where they spot the ball. Once again, the spot to me doesn't look like we have the first down, but I'll take another one of those I'm wrong, the refs are right calls right here.
I'm not sure if we're going to get a measurement on this.
Looks like Roger Bacon
Maybe
called
not.
timeout as
Roger Bacon.
they're gambling that the Braves aren't going to go for it, Greg, that we're going to punt the ball, and we're going to have to see what Coach Seipel is going to come up with here, whether we're going to risk. This would be a huge risk early in the game. There's still a whole half to play. It would be nice to be able to score one more touchdown and go in at halftime only down 1 score. But if we're unable to convert here and the Roger Bacon Spartans get the ball there, they're in pretty good shape for trying to score before the half, and that would be a crusher to us.
Tough call here for Coach Seipel. You're at midfield, got 1:55 to go. I don't see Shea Donovan anywhere around, our punter, so here we go. They're going for it. To the delight of the crowd, as the viewers can hear.
Greg,
Big 4th down play.
our crowd stands
Michael
up.
walks up under center.
And
Gets
Michael
outside,
Scherpenberg's second effort
dives for it. Wow,
gets
what a
him
great
a
job.
first down, Greg, and what a great job. He got stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but had the wherewithal to stay on his feet and then plunge forward for that first down. If our talented Indian Hill TV crew could show that again, boy, that sure would be worth a second look.
Near great play by number 33, Chad Kester, on that. Just able to get across the line, but not able to stop Michael Scherpenberg.
Scherpenberg's got number 3, Andrew Kiriakis, out in the flat over there, and he gets a lot of yards going east and west, but not north and south, Greg, as he picks up maybe 2-3 yards there. Here's that play. As you see Mike Scherpenberg giving it up to get the first down, a big play here, and Braves now 2nd and 8 with 1:13 to go. Sherp.
Blitz. Got him open.
Was
Ball's
intercepted again
by
there
number
as
23.
number 60 intended target Drew Tolliver was open, but then number 23 Tom Raby steps up and intercepts that ball, brings it down to the 45-yard line. Tough break for the Braves, Greg.
Tough break there. That broke the momentum for that drive. Nice job by Roger Bacon and number 23 Thomas Raby just kind of hanging out. I imagine he was watching Michael Scherpenberg's eyes and had a good beat on that pass.
1st and 10
Minutes
for
ago.
Rocco, who's up by 2 touchdowns once more as he's scrambling and gets his legs taken out from under him as he picks up maybe 4 yards out to the 49-yard line.
Timeout, Roger Bacon.
Roger Bacon's going to take another timeout there, Greg. I think they've got 1 left in this half and 48 seconds to go. And, you know, we talked about how Sherp can work miracles with a minute. I haven't seen Rocco play before tonight, but from what I've seen, I must imagine that he can do a lot with a minute, too.
Talented young man, good athlete. We've been impressed by his play so far in the first half. I think you're right, Dave. I think he could. We'll see. He's got 48 seconds to work with and 1 timeout remaining.
Greg, it's been a tough first half for the Braves. As a lot of things that they've tried to do, they've not been tremendously successful on. They've got to stop the Spartans here, play very hard over the next 48 seconds and go in at halftime and regroup. Rocco's got the ball now on 2nd down. He's going to hand off, and number 22 for the Spartans, Demetrius Toombs, wiggles his way up for a couple of more yards. It's going to be 3rd down now, and about 3 yards to go as
The stop for the Braves.
Roger Bacon calls their final timeout now, Greg.
Yeah, that last play, David, on the stop for the Braves, number 37, Ross Lockwood. Also number 55, Big Sammy Moore, coming from that nose tackle position. Defense needs to stiffen up here. We'll see. That was a nice defensive stand on 2nd down, big 3rd down 6. 43 seconds remaining in the first half. Braves need to tighten it down here.
3rd and 3 now with Spartans on about the 47-yard line of the Braves, and Rocco back in the shotgun, and he's looking to pass and going to get chased out of the pocket, and a big tackle by number 55, Sam Moore, who comes in for the sack. And
Sam's been injured part of the season, Dave, as you know, and we've missed seeing him in the middle. That's the kind of play that we were seeing out of Sam early in the season. We're sure glad to have him back out there.
Greg, the Braves coach Seipel calls timeout now on 4th down. That big sack puts Rocco back to 4th and 12, and we'll have to see what Coach Seipel has in store. As you see Sam Moore on that replay play coming in and putting the big hit on number 14, Rocco. A big play by number 55, Sam Moore.
Big play by the Indian Hill defense there, just short of the half. Got 31 seconds remaining. Good job by our IHTN crew to get that replay for us. Big defensive play.
Number 1 is Jake Kendall. He's going to be back to receive this punt from number 4, Ben Carl, and Carl gets that ball off on a pretty good punt, and
lots of white shirts.
Lots of white shirts, and number 1.
Good job of
Jake
coverage
Kendall
there by Roger Bacon, Dave.
Is able, though, to get up to about the 37-yard line. There's 22 seconds left, Greg. A couple of out patterns to get us down to about the 40. With 10 seconds left, Sherpy can go deep, and maybe we go into this game down only 1 score.
It's plenty of time for Michael. A couple of quick scores, or a couple of quick shots and a score. It would be a huge boost to the Braves to get some points on the board here. I know it's only 22 seconds, which isn't a lot of time, but let's see what we can do.
Sherpy's back, and
look out.
Everybody's coming, and a good block over there by, looked like number 2, Case Cousineau, taking out that Steeman Spartan, number 91 Scheibel, as he was bearing down on Sherpy, and he was just cut short of his intention of knocking Sherpy down, and leaves us with 17 seconds, 2nd and 10.
Big number 91, that senior Ted Scheibel's had a good first half. He's been after Michael Scherpenberg just constantly, and hasn't sacked him yet, but he sure has forced him to hurry and have to make some errant throws.
Sherp back again and up over the middle, and threw it out there, and really didn't see a Brave anywhere near where he threw the ball, as maybe somebody didn't run the right route, or Sherp thought they were going in a different direction, Greg.
Apparently some miscommunication there. I don't know if that was supposed to be a hot read off a blitz or what, but the receivers weren't where Michael thought they were going to be. And that ball falls harmlessly to the turf. Brings up 3rd and 10 for the Braves. About 13 seconds remaining in the first half.
Scherpenberg back again with Cousineau at his side, and number 3 Andrew Kariakis in motion, and Sherp is going to go out deep in the flat and hand off to Andrew, who
did he get out of bounds is the question.
Looks like he did get out of bounds.
It'll stop on the first down. He did get a first down, so the clock stops.
Scherpenberg pass for Jake Pender.
The Braves are going to have to be ready. And we see Michael over talking with Coach Seipel to get the play, which will most likely be the last play of the first half.
And I'll tell you, Greg, Kariakis was able to get out of bounds. The clock does stop with the first down marker, but it hasn't stopped or started yet, and that's a huge, huge play for him, as he had the wisdom to realize that we need one more play to be successful here, and got to believe Sherpy's going down the middle, and Jake Kendall gets down to about the 31-yard line, Greg. That's how the half ends. Braves are down 21-7 in a pretty exciting half of football here at Tomahawk Stadium. Our score came on a pass from Mike Scherpenberg to number 3 Andrew Kariakis. They had a couple of good passes from their quarterback, number 14 Rocco. They also had a kickoff return to start the game, and that's the difference in this evening's contest. Greg, if you're the Braves going in at halftime down by 2 touchdowns, something that you really have not faced this whole season, what do you do if you're Coach Seipel to change things in the second half and get out of here with a win?
Well, Dave, you're right. This is some new territory for the Braves, but Coach Seipel's going to have to talk with the boys and explain to them we've got another whole half of football to go. So we've got a lot of time left to go. Got half of the game yet to come, and just like Roger Bacon scored 21 in the first half, Braves can come back and put up a 21 spot in the second half, no problem.
Greg, we did talk about how the Braves offensive unit is a quick strike unit, and 2 touchdowns, of course, is a big score to some teams. We do have the capability of coming back from a 2-touchdown deficit. Of course, to do that, the players are going to have to step it up, and the team's going to have to play as a whole, as a team. There have been times in the first half when we've seen them playing well, but also we've seen things that we're not used to seeing this year, and that is guys missing running routes and guys getting in and pressuring Sherp. We're going to have to change that as well.
Yep. Those are a couple of things that Coach Seipel will be talking to the boys at halftime about, we're sure. But we've got the halftime score 21-7, as we mentioned. Roger Bacon over Indian Hill, and we're going to break for a moment.
About a show that Peter and I helped to create. And this show is called Indian Hill Sports Report, and it airs on Sundays on Channel 17 at 6:30 p.m. and also on Wednesdays on Channel 17 at 6:30 p.m.
You know, Andrew, the thing is, we really dominated Channel 17 during the week. We're actually getting a 3rd time slot in December, December 15th. We'll be on at it's 10:30 p.m. And that hopefully will be
Yeah.
a new show. Actually, a new show is coming out this Sunday, so you should check it out. Our shows include tips of the month from our trainer, athlete of the month, and an overall recap of what sports are going on at Indian Hill and recent games that have been played. It's pretty neat, so you should check it out.
And Peter, since this is a weekly show, it's always pretty much up to date and the recent action that has happened at Indian Hill. So if you need to know any information at all about Indian Hill sports, Indian Hill Sports Report is the place to find out.
Definitely, Indian Hill Sports Report is the place to find your update information on Indian Hill sports.
And if you'd like to contact Peter and I personally, you can email us at ihsportsreporter@hotmail.com. And if you'd like to contact us by phone, you can call 272-4635.
You know, Andrew, why would someone actually want to contact us for our show?
Well, Peter, they would contact us if they just want to compliment us on our dashing good looks, or if they have any information about our show that would be helpful that, you know, they'd want to contribute.
I know we get lots of help from players, coaches, and parents. I mean, video clips that they can send in or photos help as well. So if you have any ideas for our show, or if you have a special interest story, perhaps, you can contact us like Andrew said. You can either email us at ihsportsreporter@hotmail.com, or you can contact us by phone.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll send you back to the Roger Bacon Indian Hill football game right now.
Back from that great promo for that great sports TV show by our two bosses, Greg, Andrew Burgess, and Peter Carr. We're back with just about a minute to go before the second half of this exciting game continues. Braves are down 21-7, and hopefully have received some words of inspiration from Coach Seipel and the coaching staff. It's going to turn this thing around and at the end of the game wind up having the Braves with a bigger score than the Spartans.
Well, Dave, we'll see as we talked here at the break. The Braves come out and will receive the kickoff. They'll have the ball first, and they really need to march it down the field at that point and get this to a 21-14 game. And it's a single touchdown at that point, and I think they're right back in it. So we feel that this first drive back for the Braves is going to be extremely important, and hopefully Coach Seipel's got a plan in mind to make that become a reality. We've been looking at the statistics from the first half and wanted to pass some of those along to you as well. The Roger Bacon Spartans rushed the ball 15 times for 52 yards. Indian Hill 18 carries for 79 yards. Interestingly enough, Dave, and we talked about this at the halftime, the passing yards are dead equal between Kurt Rocco and Michael Scherpenberg, 142 yards apiece. Michael Scherpenberg, 13 out of 27, 2 interceptions for 142 yards. Kurt Rocco, 5 of 15 for 142 yards. So the passing stats are just dead on, dead equal. The yardage is dead equal. And we've talked a lot about these two young men through the first half and what a great job they've both done. Two fine athletes, and it's become a war of the quarterbacks at this point.
And you know, Greg, really it's a pretty evenly matched game. The score, of course, 21-7. But one of those touchdowns was that touchdown kickoff run at the beginning of the game that put us behind 7-0. The Braves and the Spartans have played fairly evenly matched, as the stats show, throughout the rest of the game. A couple of big touchdown passes from Rocco to his speedy receivers out there, and they're able to go in. And that's the difference in the game.
Yeah, I think the speed has surprised the Braves, Dave. I'm not sure that the Braves have faced a team yet this year with quite that same amount of speed, and they let a couple of the receivers get behind them. Of course, that opening kickoff return, as you mentioned, again, we really think was the result of the excellent speed that we've seen from the Roger Bacon Spartans this evening.
Greg, you see the Braves now down in their end zone, and they are trying to get fired up to come out this second half with all cylinders firing, as they realize now a little bit of urgency that they've never tasted throughout the season. They got about 24 minutes to play, and if they aren't able to turn the game around, this Cinderella season comes crashing to a halt. As Coach Seipel said at the beginning of this program, it's one and done.
Right.
You don't win, you go home, you turn your equipment in, and these guys don't want that to happen.
This is not the time for the undefeated season to go away. We want to see another victory here tonight, keep that undefeated season going, and see the Braves go to 11-0. They've got a half of football to go, and they need to play hard and put up a couple of scores, play some great defense, and get back in this game. So plenty of time to get back in it.
Greg, as you said, we get the ball first, so it's going to be an important first series for us. I don't know that we necessarily have to score on the first series. Of course, I'd like to see a score, but we do have to show the Spartans that we've picked our game up and we can move the ball around.
Yeah, we'd sure like to see a score. That's the loudest, quickest answer to the momentum that we really think is with the Spartans at this point, is for the Braves to come out and score on that first drive coming out of the half. And as you've said, David, if you take away that opening drive return by the Spartans, we've got a 14-7 game, and all the stats make sense. Indian Hill is ahead in the time of possession. They actually had the ball for 3.5 minutes more in the first half than the Spartans did. But again, with that long run there to start it off, we got a 21-7 contest.
Greg, I don't know if fans at home can hear the Braves fans here trying to encourage our team to step it up and to pick it up as number 4 kicks off, and a little squid kick is he recognizes he does not want either number 2 or number 1 to get the ball, but number 2, Case Cousineau, does in fact get the ball, goes up to the 35-yard line where the Braves will start, and Carl, who's done a pretty good job.
That's Ben Carley.
Carley has done a pretty good job of punting and kicking all afternoon. Kind of squibbed that because he didn't want number 1, Jay Kendall, or number 2, Case Cousineau, to run the ball back for a big run.
Yeah, we think Ben has been instructed by his coaches to keep it away from numbers 1 and 2 on the Braves side, and he's done a good job with that so far. We may have been pronouncing Ben's last name as Carl in the first half, and have since learned that it's Carley. There's a strike over the middle. Nice pass by Michael Scherpenberg for a first down.
Greg, that's the way,
Jay Kendall, Dave.
That's the way you want to start the second half, Greg. You come out strong. You come out with your bread and butter all year, and that's certainly been Jay Kendall, a go-to guy. I noticed in the stats in the paper today, he's maybe 4th or 5th in receiving yards, but he's number 1 in catches. He had 60, and that was at least 10 more than any other receiver in the city.
Jake has been the go-to guy for Michael Scherpenberg this year, and that's where you want to go.
Mike's back again, and he's going to pass it out in the flat. Number 5, Danny Johnson, makes another great pass. And I'll tell you, Greg, over here in the flat, a great block by our running back. I think it was number 2, Case Cousineau. Might have been number 3, Andrew Kariakis. There was a Spartan coming in on number 15, Mike Scherpenberg, and they put a big hit on that pursuer to stop him from getting to Scherpenberg and enabling Scherp to make that great pass to Danny. Another first down, and we're going to hand the ball off this time to number 2, Case Cousineau.
There he goes, there he goes.
Puts it out.
Come on, Case.
Outside, and now he cuts it in. And
there he goes. Good job. Nice run.
Quick 21 there.
Fired up there, Dave.
For Case Cousineau.
Everybody's getting fired up.
The Spartans are beginning to see now, Greg, why Case is such a valuable asset to our team. He's a great runner. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's not afraid to take a hit. When he gets open field, he knows how to put it behind him.
Great job by Joe Werdeman on the left side of that Indian Hill line that time to make a hole for Case. Gonna go the other way now. Here we go, other way.
Right,
Got the touchdown, baby. There we go. Got away. Braves score. Put down 6. Just what we wanted, Dave. We wanted to see the Braves come out hot, coming out of the halftime, out of the locker room, and boy, that's exactly what we've got.
How about it took a minute and 3 seconds to score that touchdown? And with this extra point. Matt Merritt is able to convert. The Braves will be only down by 7 points, Greg, and certainly that drive very important for them as they have reestablished themselves and gotten back in this game.
We may be able to rename that drive. The kick is good. So we're 21-14, Roger Bacon. We may have to rename that drive as the Case Cousineau drive. Case just put the team on his shoulders that time, Dave, and a couple of great runs and just blew that ball down the field. I don't think he was going to be denied there on that second run. But he smelled goal line, he smelled end zone, and that's it. Here we go. We've got a replay from our IHTN crew. Nothing's going to stop him now. He is in the end zone. Touchdown, Case Cousineau.
Hey, Greg, our boss, one of our bosses is out in the field, producer Pete Carr and director Andrew Burgess, who are doing a great job this evening, making sure that the fans at home see a wonderful game. The graphics are Spence Kagi, Adam Teeger, Cody McLean, and Jim Ja are the cameramen that are bringing you all these great shots. And man, those cameramen are really in on top of things. They're showing you what we're seeing right here at the field live, Greg.
We love our boys from IHTN. They do a great job. Had some technical problems through the middle of the season. Had some problems bringing you Braves football, but we're back tonight live in Indian Hill. And the IHTN crew is doing a great job.
Number 4,
Ben Carley.
You know, once we got his name right, maybe we jinxed him a little bit. When we were calling him the wrong name, maybe it put an edge on his shoulder and made him produce there. He's able to get a few yards, but he's tackled down there at the 33-yard line. And now, number 14, Kurt Rocco, is going to have to try to quiet this rambunctious Indian Hill crowd and try to mount a drive of his own as he tries to get the momentum back for the Spartans. And they're going to go up the gut with number 22, Demetrius Toombs, and Toombs picks up about 5 yards, Greg, and it's going to be a 2nd and 5, and we got to find a way to shut these runners down and slow them down a little bit.
Demetrius is limping a little bit, Dave. Looks like he's going off the field there. Met by, doesn't quite make it. Sure hope Demetrius is okay. He's going to be met by some of the Roger Bacon coaching staff.
I talked to one of the coaches earlier before the game, Greg, and they tell me that both Demetrius and another running back, number 20, Jake Bierman, were both a little dinged up in last week's game and were unable to play. They felt Demetrius was able to come back tonight. He certainly has had some good plays. Looks like he's shaking up now, and I agree with you. Let's hope that it's nothing serious and he gets back in the game.
He did manage to get off under his own power, Dave, so we sure hope he's okay. Think he will be, and if we have any reports, we'll pass it along to everyone as soon as we get it.
2nd and 5 for Rocco and his Spartans, and he's going to be back to pass, and he's out over the middle, and a good catch, but a great hit there by number 1, Jake Kendall, is number 36.
Ben Catterjohn.
Ben Catterjohn makes,
pronouncing that correctly, we hope, Ben.
Makes a pretty good catch there, Greg, but pays the price for that catch is number 1, Jake Kendall, comes in from his cornerback position and just puts a pasting on him.
Big hit by Jake Kendall, but Ben does a good job to hold on to the ball there to secure the first down for the Spartans.
Another run up the gut, this time Carley, number 4.
Nice run by number 4, Ben Carley. Ben's uncle, Bill Weber, joins us in the booth this evening. Bill, thanks for stopping in. Bill's nephew, Ben, has been doing a great job tonight.
And now,
great run there.
Rocco and his Spartans have moved the ball, and they're going to hand off again to Ben Carley. And once again, this time on the left side of the Spartan line, he's able to punch his way through the first wave of Braves defenders and get a pretty good run there, Greg, as he picks up about 7 yards, and he's going to make it about a 2nd and 3, maybe 2nd and 2.
Another good run by Carley. The Spartans haven't lost anything by Demetrius Toombs leaving the game, that's for sure. Ben has picked up where Demetrius left off.
That ball is
almost
overthrown and almost picked off there by number 1, Jake Kendall, who did his best to stretch out there and wasn't meant to be now in a 3rd and 3 for Rocco and his Spartans, Greg.
Looked like number 24, Tommy Zanders, over in coverage. And as you mentioned, Dave, Jake Kendall diving for the ball, see if he can pick up a reception. Roger Bacon continues with their no-huddle offense, which I believe has been pretty successful so far this evening. Another call to Ben Carley. Another nice run by Ben.
Off to his right there, Greg, and really finds some wide open space to run and gets a first down. And the Braves are a little bit perplexed, I think, by this shotgun offense. And now Roger Bacon's going to get away from that, and they're going to go into a traditional huddle, and hopefully that'll allow the Braves to maybe catch their breath and make a defensive stand here.
Well, we're seeing the running game from Roger Bacon now. We felt like we saw so much of their passing attack in the first half, with Kurt Rocco kind of taking him on his shoulders for the first half. And now he's back to pass. The blitz is on.
Greg, number 7, David Stevens, is able to haul that ball in down there on a pretty good pass by Rocco. He had some heat coming. 2 Braves were moving in on him, and he was able to get that ball out. The man in coverage, I think, was number 1, Jake Kendall. Looked like Jake had some pretty good coverage, but Stevens able to haul that ball in for another touchdown.
It looked like Jake was in a good position to deflect that pass, but a heck of a throw by number 14, Kurt Rocco. He had some zip on that one. He ran it right by Jake Kendall and into the hands of his receiver, David Stevens.
And now Jay Francis gets ready to attempt the extra point, and there's going to be a penalty here, Greg. And
that's the second time we've seen that happen. I wonder if Roger Bacon's got a hard count play or something they run there.
I don't know.
Because they're on and off the field looking like they've done this before. I don't think this is the first time they've drawn a defense offside on an extra point, get that half the distance of the goal, and then they bring the offense right back out on the field. So
what's big here, Greg, is 2 points puts us down really in a bigger hole than 1 point. And Greg, I'll tell you, we had the penetration there and able to make Rocco forced out of the pocket. The 2 guys that came in to get him weren't able to tackle him, and he was able to skirt over to the right and get in, and that makes it 29-14. Roger Bacon.
Good athletic move by Kurt Rocco there, able to avoid what appeared to be a sack, or momentarily appeared to be a sack. He jumped outside, went into the end zone untouched.
Well, Greg, it starts all over. That momentum that we were able to muster coming out of the first half has now gone to the Roger Bacon side of the field, and Michael Scherpenberg and his Braves are going to have to figure out a way to answer that bell and come back and score again ourselves.
Like a couple of heavyweights, couple of prize fighters. Indian Hill comes out of the halftime locker room and delivers their punch, and Roger Bacon answers the call and comes right back and scores, and adds a 2-point conversion on top of it. So actually picks up a point in the swing.
Number 4, Ben Carley, does a little squib kick there. This time Jake Kendall gets the ball, and pretty good job there by number 29 for Roger Bacon, John Phipps, who's able to contain Jake, not allow him to get to the outside, turned him in, and then a couple other Roger Bacon Spartans were able to help him tackle him.
Good job again by the special teams for Roger Bacon. I think they've done a fine job all night. They really haven't given or allowed Indian Hill much field position on the kickoffs. They've done a good job of kicking squibs and getting their guys down for coverage. So first and 10 Braves.
8:25 in the 3rd quarter here. Sherpy's going to get his 2nd touch of the ball this quarter, and he's got to throw it away there as
Getting some pressure that time, yeah.
Spartans were in on top of it and did a good job to throw it out of bounds so nobody could catch it.
Getting some pressure quickly that time. Really not much to do with that one other than go ahead and get the ball out of bounds. So that was a good play by Michael. Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Braves at the Indian Hill 33-yard line.
Number 9, John Spatz, is dispatched to the right of, looks like number 6, Drew Tolliver, on the right side of the field. 2 receivers to the left, and Sherp is going to swing out to that right side. Able to complete the ball over there to, I think, number 9, John Spatz, on a pretty good throw by Sherp. And looks like Spatz might be shaken up on the play, as hopefully all he did was come down on the ball and
Looks
get
like
the
he
wind
fell
knocked-
on the ball for sure,
wind knocked
Dave.
out of it. The Indian Hill trainers are going to get out there and make sure that that's all that's wrong. Is you can see there's 2 concerned Braves teammates. Number 1, Jake Kendall, number 5, Danny Johnson, over there, and make sure that their comrade isn't too injured to not be able to return to this game, Greg.
Part of the receiving core there with Jake and Danny Johnson. It did appear that John Spatz fell on the ball. We saw the ball kind of squirt out a little bit after he went down. Looked like it was up underneath him. So we'll allow the trainers to attend to John.
You know, while we're waiting on the trainers and then John, hopefully he's going to be able to get up and leave the field on his own power. If we could see that play again, I think you'll see a pretty nice move by Mike Scherpenberg coming to the outside, Greg.
Here we go. Here's our replay.
And he really held the ball till the end, till he had to. Made a good move on that receiver, and then a great job over there. And you can see a pretty huge hit.
It was a nice hit by number 42, Scott Starkey of the Spartans. Mike Scherpenberg again showing us what we've seen throughout the season, where he can buy time. He rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls and uses all of the width of the field before he needs to release the ball. Here's the tackle again. It's like that ball's up underneath him. We hope he just got the wind knocked out of him.
We'd like to point out that 2005 marks the 16th year.
Well, they look like they've moved him to his back and his knees are up, and that's a pretty good sign. They're allowing him to dictate when he's going to move, and now he's up. He finally gets up and able to motor off under his own power drag. And, you know, he was not available last week's game and was sorely missed. He's a fantastic young man and a really good wide receiver, a big part of the Braves' success this year. And let's hope he can shake that off and get right back in the game. We're going to need him the rest of the way out.
Yeah, he'll have to sit out that one play, and hopefully that's all it is. As you said, Dave, John did miss the game last week. He was missed. He's an integral part of the Braves attack, and we see Kramer Hendricks in to replace John Spatz, number 17. Kramer's wide out to the right.
Greg, when you said that ball spat out, apparently the refs called that incomplete. I thought John had the ball because he was running with it and then got thrown to the ground. Oh, they called an inadvertent whistle.
We've been told in the booth.
So a huge mistake there, I guess, by the referees to take away what would have been a first down. It should have been a first down to the Braves.
We've been trying to figure out what happened. It sure looked like a catch and a first down to us, but the ball and the sticks didn't move, so we've gotten information in the booth that it was called an inadvertent whistle by the officials, so the play was dead. 3rd and 7, passes complete to Andrew Kiriakis over the middle. Nice grab by Andrew. Good for a Braves first down, Dave.
And that's nice to see that what would have been a Braves first down, it should have been a Braves first down.
We had to get that one twice. We got that one twice, so
maybe
no problem with that.
Maybe that's going to be some good luck.
1st and 10 Braves from the Roger Bacon 49-yard line. Braves enter Spartan territory once again with 7:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Nice little play out there, and Andrew Kiriakis just can't hang on. And I'll tell you, I'm not sure where the camera was on that play. I think it went to to follow Andrew Kiriakis. Mike Scherpenberg did a great thing on that play, and that was step up into the pocket. There was a Spartan, Roger Bacon Spartan, coming in on him, and he recognized that, stepped up in the pocket, bought him 2 more seconds. He made a great play or a great pass out there to Andrew Kiriakis, and Andrew just couldn't hang on, but a pretty good play, even though it was an incomplete pass.
Another good job by Michael to buy just a little extra time. That'll bring up a 2nd and 10 for the Braves. We see flags, several flags.
Probably going to be against the Braves, Greg, as it looked like.
See him pointing towards the Braves, procedure call. Illegal procedure.
Greg, that's a tough penalty to take when you're starting to get your rhythm in. You don't want to go backwards, you want to go forwards. And although Mike Scherpenberg has shown that he's capable of throwing the ball 20 yards, 30 yards down the field, it's still nice to keep it 2nd and short.
I'd like to see that momentum moving in the other direction. Another blitz. Nice throw by Michael. Catch by Andrew Kiriakis for a nice pickup.
Picked up about maybe 11 of the needed 15. And so it's going to be about a 3rd and 5, maybe 3rd and 6 there, Greg, but that's a makeable conversion for us.
We'll call it 3rd and 5. Ball is on the 44-yard line of the Spartans.
Michael Scherpenberg now is going to keep the ball himself
There's
again.
That quarterback keeper that we've seen.
Does a great job
Nice
there,
job
Greg.
by Michael.
Stealing that
Nice
first
job.
down from the Roger Bacon Spartans as he slides through a bunch of Spartans trying to stop him short, and he picks up a first down. A good play by him, and there's another player injured on the field. It looks like it's number 29 for Roger Bacon, John Phipps, and he's a guy, we've called his name a couple times tonight. He does a pretty good job for them.
Tough young man, good football player. 10 for the Braves on the Roger Bacon 37-yard line.
Greg, a great
A big completion.
pitch and
Michael
catch there.
Scherpenberg at his best again, I'll tell you, Dave.
A nice play by Mike as he moves out side of the pocket. He did a great job of avoiding that pursuing Spartan, and then he did a great job of finding, I think, number 6, Danny Tolliver, down there for that first down. A huge play by Michael Scherpenberg. Drew Tolliver.
We've talked about it all night, and another great job by Michael Scherpenberg of getting outside of the pocket, avoiding the pressure, buying that extra time, and finding the open receiver.
Handoff up the middle to Case Cousineau, and he is
Case is wrapped
stopped.
up by big number 91. It's Ted Schwabel.
They're going to spot the ball, though, Greg. Give him about a 2-yard gain. It's going to be 2nd down, maybe even 3. 2nd down and 7 for Case as Schwabel really pushed him back after he got a couple of yards out of it. So the Braves are able to do something positive on that play.
Ball on the 16-yard line. Braves, of course, able to get a first down here.
It's going to be a handoff
Danny
to
Johnson.
Danny
coming
Johnson
around
to the outside, and Danny unable to turn it in, Greg. When he started to move in, there were some Roger Bacon Spartans there to stop him, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It looks like it's still going to be 3rd down and 8 to go.
Looks like that tackle was made by number 33, Chad Kester, for the Spartans. Chad comes up limping for a second, but appears to be okay. He remains in the game.
Danny might have picked up 1 on that, as it was 2nd and 8. It's now 3rd and 7, Greg, and Sherpin, his offensive unit now have a big 3rd down play as they try to keep this drive alive. He's back to pass, and right there on the 5-yard line,
Pass is
number
complete
3,
to Andrew Kyriakis.
Andrew Kyriakis, who does an outstanding job of making sure he caught the ball. You know, often you see receivers, before they have the ball in their possession, turn to run. Andrew did a smart thing there by making sure he had the catch. He knew he was in first down territory, got the ball, a big first down for the Braves.
Big first down. Andrew's a smart, sure-handed receiver. As we've talked through the evening, he may not be leading the team in catches, but it's always a big catch when Andrew's at the other end. So good job, Andrew. First down, Braves on the 6.
Mike Scherpenberg under center there, and they're going to hand off to number 2,
He's in for a touchdown.
Who's able to go to the right side and get in the score, Greg. And we're coming back on these Spartans as the score is now 29-20. We're going to have to see what Coach Seifel decides to do here with respect to this extra point. It looks like we're going to kick the 1
I think you
point
go ahead and kick this one here. You've always got it's 2 scores. You're going to need a score again anyway. So, and you've got the chance to go for 2 points on the next one. So let's make it 29-21. That's good.
Greg, that was a big point there for Matt Merritt, number 32. It does put us only 1 score and 1 conversion away from the Spartans, who have been leading the whole game. What a great run there at the end by Case Cousineau. We're going to see it
this pitch again. Nice pitch.
See number 34.
Look at this block by number 24, Tommy Zanders, giving it up. Number 34, Kevin McFarland out front. Great block by Kevin. Cut back by Case. There's big Alex Becker, number 59, there to clean up just in case. Boom, touchdown.
And Greg, that's what you call teamwork.
That's a heck of a play. That's what we like to see from these Braves. Great blocking out front. Case picking his way in through there. Good job by Case finding that hole, Dave.
Greg, we've had the ball twice this half, and we scored twice. They've had it once, they scored once. Let's give them the ball and get it back without them scoring, and go in for another score and tie the game or get behind by 1 point.
Braves need a big defensive stand here.
Greg, number 43, it looks like, for Roger Bacon. Justin Berry is the ball carrier on the kickoff, and he tried to break it big, but was tackled there on the 30-yard line. And
good job by the Braves there. Number 62, Steve Kroll, sophomore player, going to be a fine football player here at Indian Hill. Here we go. Time for a little defense, Braves. Let's see what we got. 1st and 10 for the Spartans on their own 30-yard line, Dave.
Kurt Rocco back in the shotgun, back to pass, looks out in the flat, a wide open number 90 or 89. He's able to separate himself from his coverage as Sam Mitchell, number 89, and he picks up a first down there, Greg, as he looked like he made a little juke move, went one way and then went out to the other side, and Rocco looked over and hit him right now for a first down.
Good route by number 89, Sam Mitchell. Good job by Kurt Rocco to get the ball out to his receiver. Sam's a senior, listed at 6'1", 160, wide receiver for the Spartans. Brings up the 1st and 10, inside handoff.
It's a handoff up the gut, and Carly,
excuse me, we keep wanting to mispronounce Ben's last name. His uncle Bill Weber is going to be all over me if I continue to do that.
When you call him Carl, he does a good job. When you call him Carly, he does a good job too.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite the job he does when you mispronounce his name.
Bill Weber, a good friend of Indian Hill football. Of course, the former voice of WMOH, and for many years did games for MOH. Now retired, we'll say. 1st and 10 Spartans.
Rocco back to pass, and he gets flushed out of the pocket, and Greg does a good job of picking up some big yardage there, 7 yards. The Braves have to go back and pass coverage, and Rocco looks down the field. Our cornerbacks and safeties are all over their receivers. He sees a lane and he takes it, picks up 7 yards, 2nd and 3.
Yeah, we can see Kurt Rocco taking advantage of the bull rush that's being put on by the Braves. The offensive linemen are bull rushing and running right past Kurt Rocco as he's going the other way. So the Braves defensive line is going to have to keep an eye on him. Nice vaulting move there by Ben Carley. Ben sure picked up the load since number 22, Demetrius Toombs, has been out.
Going to be 3rd down there, Greg, as Ben tries to leapfrog over the Braves line to get that 1st down.
A little bit short, big 3rd down here, Dave. 3rd and less than a yard. Ball's out, nice hit.
And Greg, it looks like the Braves got the big turnover there.
Yes, they do.
It's number 73, Steve Forbes, I think, is the guy that got that ball back, and that's a huge play as number 1, it shuts down a Roger Bacon drive. They were deep into our field, but number 2, it gives the offensive unit a chance to come down and tie this thing up with 1:18 left in the 3rd quarter.
Big hit by the Braves inside there. We couldn't see who caused the fumble, but a great job by the Braves. Braves got the break that they've been wanting and looking for. Got their turnover, first turnover of the game, I think, other than interception.
First for the Braves, and let's make them pay for this turnover as Sherp back to pass, and he's going to now run the ball and does a great job there, Greg, of
1st down.
Using the fake pass to freeze the defender. That allowed him to make a move to the inside and pick up a 1st down. What a huge play. Chad Costner was able to bring it down, but not until he ran the ball the 10 yards needed for that 1st down.
It's going to be difficult deciding who the game ball goes to. The quarterback for Indian Hill or the quarterback for Roger Bacon Spartans. These 2 young men have just put on a show tonight. They've both just played an excellent game thus far to keep their teams in the game. 1st and 10, Indian Hill. There's that inside handoff.
Case Cousineau, and he's just able to get back to the line of scrimmage here, Greg. Is
number 33 again, that's Chad Coster.
Coster's able to read that play, and the Braves still trying to use that run a little bit to set up the pass, and it works sometimes, it doesn't work, but the beauty of it is you've got to be prepared for it. Case has shown that he's able to burn you up if he gets some daylight.
If he gets just that little crease, he's off to the races. So 2nd and 10, Braves from their own 46. There's
once
that
again, Michael Scherpenberg
up the middle. Nice run by Michael. He's showing some speed, Dave.
Clock's going to stop here with 0.9 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. We're not going to get another playoff for this 3rd quarter, Greg, but we are on the move, and hopefully we're going to start
3rd quarter
the 4th
comes to an end.
Be able to convert this ball down into the end zone and score a touchdown.
1 quarter to go. It's crunch time now. See what these young men are made out of. Braves have a chance to move ahead. And excuse me, we were just handed some information here in the booth, but Braves have the chance to move the ball down the field. And
Dan Topping, Mike Sweeney, Larry Eli, Ken Schneider, Josh Logston, Bert Sheard, and Brian Walker. They've all been an instrumental part of the success that the Braves have had, and really are good guys and the kind of teachers that you want your young men to learn from. Fake play action, and number 5 there for the Spartans, Jay Crook, unfortunately is not faked out on that play as he's able to stack Michael Scherpenberg back at about the 47-yard line for a loss, and it's going to put us at 2nd down and about looks like 20, Greg.
Looks like about a loss of 10 on that play. appears that Michael thought he could sidestep Jay Crook and maybe buy himself a little extra time, but Jay wasn't having any of that. So a sack for number 5, Jay Crook, and pushes the Braves back into a 2nd and 20 situation. Ball is back into Braves territory. There's that fake inside handoff to Case Cousineau, keeper, if you will. Michael Scherpenberg keeps the ball, moves ahead.
Greg, we got 3rd down stats, and I'll tell you, Case has picked his game up through the 3rd quarter, 16 carries, 97 yards. Our 2nd leading rusher, though, is Michael Scherpenberg, 10 carries, 65 yards. Braves have about 164 yards on the ground, 220 yards in the air, and we hope that that total continues to mount in this 4th quarter. Michael Scherpenberg now in the shotgun on a 3rd down and long, and everybody's coming.
Here comes the rush.
He's able to get out of the pocket, and he's able to put it down, and his intended receiver looks like number 9, John Spatz, not able to bring it in, tipped the ball. The Spartan tried to pull it in, but the ball went incomplete, and now it looks like we're going to maybe punt the ball again as number 20, Shea Donovan, comes out to do the honors. Greg.
Yeah, ball in Indian Hill territory, although just slightly, not a position where you'd want to go for the 4th down. So a good call by Coach Seipel here. Let's punt this away, and the Braves would hope to pin Roger Bacon back down to their own end. That's not a good start.
And snapping.
Oh, and he fell on it.
Well, Greg, you know, Shea did the right thing. You don't have a lot of time to think back there. He tried to pick it up, wasn't able to do it. He became nervous because he saw a lot of white jerseys coming in. He certainly didn't want them to pick it up, score a touchdown. And although we don't want him to have the ball on the 31-yard line, we certainly don't want him to pick it up and go in for the score. So at that point, Shea dropped the ball and protected it, and I think it was the right play offensively.
Yeah, that's a tough play when you're the punter and you know you've got the entire defense bearing down on you and you can't seem to find the handle on the ball. Probably safest just to fall on it, let your defense come out and play for you.
Tough place to put the defense in, though, is our side of the field. They're going to try to run the ball, and good job by the defensive line.
Toombs back in the game.
As Demetrius Toombs tries to carry the ball up the gut, but number 55, Sam Moore, 34, Kevin McFarland, 73, Steve Forbes, and some other Braves were able to swarm around him and bring it down.
Good job by the Braves defensive line there. Held them to little or no gain. Scoreboard showing 2nd and 10.
Looks like it's 2nd and 9 though, Greg, as Rocco goes back and he's going to put that ball up in the air, and once again he
pass
goes
to number 7,
David Stevens.
Stevens
Takes the ball, and Greg, on that play, I'll tell you, Stevens was covered very well by the quarterback over on that side, and give Rocco credit. He put it to the outside of Stevens' body, and only Stevens could catch it, and he did what he had to do and scored another touchdown.
Nice throw by Kurt Rocco there. As Dave, as you said, he put it in just the perfect spot for his receiver to pull it in. And we believe David Stevens to be his favorite receiver. We can sure understand that with that fine play. Kick is up and good.
Extra point is good, putting us down now by 15 points, Greg. And now with 9:28 to go, the time clock becomes the ally of the Spartans and the enemy of the Indian Hill Braves, as we're forced to pick up our game even more, come back and score again, and hold them and try to get down just to tie this thing up and score twice.
Sudden turn of events there. We thought the Braves were in a position to take the ball the other way and maybe tie the game up after that big fumble recovery. But unfortunately, the Spartans defense stood tall and shut the Braves down. And then we had the problem with the snap and the reception for the punt. So good teams usually capitalize on mistakes, and the Roger Bacon Spartans definitely capitalized on that mistake by the Braves.
Well, you know, Greg, as advertised, when we first found out that we're going to play these Roger Bacon Spartans this evening in round 1 of the playoffs, you look at their 6-4 record, and you maybe think the Braves are going to get an easy game. And from the very get-go, people were telling us that these Spartans were a very, very talented team, a tough team, hard-hitting. And they showed us that they deserve those accolades. As number 1, Jake Kendall just
about broke
breaking
it.
There, he does get it up to the 35-yard line, and the Indian Hill Braves offensive unit's going to come back out there, Greg, and hopefully they're going to be able to be as successful as they've been. You know, they had the ball twice in the third quarter. They were able to score 2 touchdowns. They need to answer 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. This is going to be the drive to start the first one.
This may be the drive of the evening right here, Dave.
Hand off to
inside
Chase
handoff.
Cousineau, who does a great job of going straight through the Roger Bacon Spartan defense and picks up about 13 yards there, Greg, for a first down ball.
Performance. 1st and 10 Braves at the 50-yard line.
Scherpenberg back to pass and out in the flat, and pass is incomplete as it bounces on the ground before it rests in the arms of number 1, Jake Kendall, the intended receiver. It's going to be 2nd and 10, Greg, for the 50.
Ball there just a little too low, Dave, for Jake to be able to catch that one. The Braves. Mike Scherpenberg sends Andrew Kiriakis out wide left in the slot. Jake Kendall out wide. Pressure on Michael.
Number 9!
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that. There's some quick strike capability for us. We're glad to have John Spatz back this evening. We talked about him. He missed the game last week. Comes back with a big catch right there. Another great job by Michael Scherpenberg, too. Getting free. Wide extra time.
I'll tell you what was very impressive about that, too. After the point after attempt here by number 32, Matt Merritt. Maybe we can see that play again. You're going to see John Spatz at about the 30-yard line, 25-yard. He was actually held by the defender. He was able to break free, catch the ball, and run in for the touchdown. What a great effort by him to put us back in the game. And Matt Merritt continues to be perfect this
100% again.
He puts us back within a touchdown and a 2-point conversion.
I think we have the replay on that touchdown. Here we go. Mike Scherpenberg rolling right, finding John Spatz for the touchdown. Great catch. Good job, guys, catching that for us. Thank you. All right, Dave, here we go. Crunch time, 8:47 remaining in this game and 8:47 left in someone's season. Somebody's going to go home tonight, and we're going to have to stick around and find out.
I'll tell you, Greg, if you're a fan of either team, you have a heart condition, this might not be the game to watch. It sure is thrilling and exciting as both these teams are lighting up the sky here at Tomahawk Stadium with great plays. The one from John Spatz that we just saw was only one of many.
We're seeing some great high school football tonight. Even if you're not a fan of either team, as Dave said, you've got to be excited about this game this evening. Short kick taken by number 5.
Greg, a tribe of Braves were able to swarm on Jay Crook as he gets the ball up to the 40-yard line, and now our defensive unit is going to have to step things up and try to slow down this Spartan attack, get the ball back for our offensive unit.
It's the Braves' defense's turn now. Defense needs to step it up and make a big play. Here we go, 1st and 10 from the Spartans' 42-yard line.
Hand off to Carly.
like
he is not able to get much
Big Sammy
yardage.
Moore, number 55, in the middle of that. Number 50, 57, Chase Daniels in there. 73, Steve Forbes.
About 3 yards on play. He's second down and 7.
Give him 2.5. We call it second and a long 7. Just about 8 yards for the Spartans.
Rocco back in the shotgun. And he's going to pass. And over there in the corner. And great defense there by
Jake Kendall.
number 1, Jake Kendall, who positioned his body in front of the intended receiver, number 7, Stevens. And on this occasion, Kendall was in better position to catch the ball, couldn't pull it in, but more importantly, did not allow Stevens to get another catch.
A good position by Jake Kendall that time. Was able to knock that ball down. David Stevens bringing that one in.
Big play here, Greg, as the crowd comes alive, and Rocco back to pass, and he gets sacked.
Ball's on the ground.
The ball's on the ground, and the Braves have it on an outstanding defensive play. Number
Talk about
57.
some defense, folks. How about that? The
Chase
crowd is
Daniels.
going nuts here.
Ball's on that ball, and we've got to see that play again, Greg. What an outstanding job our defensive unit did to give us the ball down on the 35-yard line.
That's a defense stepping up right there. That's a big-time defensive play. Great job by the Braves defense.
You're going to see it
There
again,
we go.
Greg, and it's number 8.
Christian Guidi
Comes
knocks
in
the
for
ball
sack,
loose.
knocks the ball loose, and
Right to number 57, Chase Daniels. In the right place at the right time. Great job, guys.
it's going to be the handoff to Cousineau, who really does a great job there, Greg, although he doesn't get a lot of yardage. He's a speedy and also a shifty running back, and he spins. He got hit at the line, and he was able to spin and pick up about 2 or 3 yards where he really shouldn't have had any.
It looked like he was going to get a thing, but Case always seems to get a couple yards, even out of nothing, and that was another example of that. So let's call it second and 8 Braves at the Spartans' 33-yard line.
Another handoff.
Fake inside.
Number 3, Andrew Kariakis. Catches that ball at the 20-yard line, move those chains again, Greg. And another great fake by number 2, Case Cousineau, as that allows Sherpy to go to the outside and throw to number 3, Andrew Kariakis, for another great play.
A great catch by Andrew, number 33, Chad Koster, who was really putting the pressure on Michael Scherpenberg that time too, Dave. He got to Michael right as he released the ball and took him to the turf in no uncertain terms. So great job by number 33, but Michael Scherpenberg able to get that pass off in time.
And Sherpy now
There's the
keeps
fake
the
inside
ball.
handoff to Michael Scherpenberg.
He picks up maybe 5 or 6 yards there, Greg, on another great play. And there's a player on the field. It looks like he's grabbing.
5 yards.
Season's on the line right here. Big series of plays for the Braves. 6:48 remaining in the contest.
Scherpenberg just keeps it
Straight
on a
ahead,
draw.
Michael Scherpenberg.
Man, does he take a hit, but he gets the ball down to the 5-yard line.
First
Greg,
down, Braves.
on a great run by him, and that was a run all the way, a draw all the way from the quarterback.
Yep.
And it really worked well as now we bring in some of the big boys, number 34, Kevin McFarland, and number
24, Tommy Zanders going in. Tommy goes in as a tight end. Part of the goal line package, as you said, number 34, Kevin McFarland in there. Kevin's fullback, sometimes blocking fullback. Kevin's a junior. Leader on the defense, plays in the middle as a linebacker on defense. Inside handoff. Didn't fool the Spartans, however. Nice play by number 67. That's Tony Crow. Nice play by Tony from his end position.
A great good play by the entire defensive line for Roger Bacon as they penetrated. Didn't allow Kevin really to get his feet down and get set. And that's why I was tackled for a little bit of a loss. It's second and goal now on about the 7-yard line.
Yeah, the Spartans D-line won the battle on that last play, I think. Kind of stood the Braves up. So let's see what we do here, 2nd and 10.
Greg, this time, Coach.
Come on,
Coach
Coach.
Cousineau looked like he had it
Like a
broken there,
hog
Greg,
tie
and
there.
Got hog-tied, like you said, right at the end and drug down on
Rodeo.
about the 3-yard line. And going to be a big 3rd down now for the Braves.
It's number 5, Jake Crook, with that saving tackle, probably touchdown saving tackle. I think if Jay doesn't get him, Case is in the end zone there. Brings up a 3rd and 3.
5 minutes to go, the crowd on their feet. They want a touchdown. Sherpy aims to please, and he's gonna get it!
Yeah, all right. All right. That looks like number 24, Tommy Zanders from the tight end position.
Comes out and runs around, and now Greg, it's 36-34. Braves are probably
You
gonna
gotta go.
for it here.
You gotta go for it. You gotta go. Look at the huddle of the coaches on the sideline. Looks like Coach Seipel's getting a lot of advice. Coach, come up with a good one. Come up with a good one. This is big.
A big touchdown catch there by Tommy
Huge play.
Zanders. And
Tommy coming off of that tight end position.
Now-
Able to sneak into the back of the end zone, get open there. Great job by Michael Scherpenberg to find the open receiver. Well, let's look for Michael to do his magic again here. See John Spatz out wide to the right. Back of the end zone, back of the end zone. Oh my
drops it,
goodness.
unable to hang on is
Holy moly.
the intended receiver. I think that's number 1. Jake Kendall, a sure-handed catcher, just not able to hold that ball in, Greg.
Looked like Jake had a chance.
Greg, the big thing here is instead of being tied, we're only down 2. There's 5 minutes left in the game. The defense can do it. We're going to see that touchdown pass again to Tommy Zanders over there. And a great catch by him to put us within 2. There's still 5 minutes left, which is a lot of time. We talked about the time that Michael Scherpenberg needs to do something positive. What our defense has to do now is get the ball back, and we'll be okay.
Here we go. 4:53 left to play in the game, and it's getting exciting. 2-point lead for the Roger Bacon Spartans. Comes the kickoff from Matt Merritt.
Merritt kicks this one very deep, Greg, and with that ball.
Gets into the end zone. Yeah, number 21 decides to let it roll in the end zone. That was probably a good call there by Dante Swain to let that ball go into the end zone. And Roger Bacon will take over on their own 20-yard line. Dave, if Matt was going to have a big kick, this is the time to do it.
A good kick there. And I was about to say, you stole my thunder. If the ball goes back into the end zone, it does result in a touchback, an automatic touchback, unlike in the NFL. So the Spartans will get the ball in the 20, but that's a pretty good place to start them off at. And this defense now is going to be encouraged by these fans. And they can step their game up here and get the ball back. We're going to be okay.
Defense needs to get the ball back here. Rocco under center. Pitches back to his favorite receiver now.
Was unable to get outside there, Greg. A great defensive effort over there by number 73, Steve Forbes, and number 24, Tommy Zanders, who comes up a little shaken up on the play as he makes a pretty big stick on Carley, and Carley doesn't even get back, or does get back to the line of scrimmage, doesn't pick anything up. 2nd down and 10 now.
Yeah, Dave Ball's sitting right back on the 20-yard line as we can see now. That's one of the few times the Braves have been able to contain number 4, Ben Carley. So 2nd and 10. Rocco back in the shotgun formation again. And it's intercepted! Intercepted by Case Cousineau. Takes it in. Holy cow, baby! Woo!
What a great play there by number 2, Case Cousineau, who stepped up and intercepted that ball. He was closer to it than the intended receiver. Took it to the house, and now the Braves are up 40-36, Greg.
That's the turnover the Braves needed right there. And who else? Who else but number 2, Case Cousineau. Case has just had a phenomenal season. Of course, he's our star featured running back on offense. He's an awesome defensive player and a headsy player at best. Case we've talked about before being the 3rd Cousineau to play football here at Indian Hill. His oldest brother Court played for many years. His middle brother Cole played a few years ago with my son Bobby, graduates of 2004, and now the youngest member of the Cousineau family, Case, is again having an exceptional.
Were knocking the other one down, and they were getting up and answering the bell.
Throwing their best shots at each other. We're going to see who's going to be left standing here at the end. Here's the replay. He must have never saw Case because he threw it right to him, and he is in the end zone.
Greg, I think
that young man knows the end zone, doesn't he?
He sure does. And what I was about to say was, now Roger Bacon has been knocked to the canvas, and they were forced to burn a timeout on that 2-point conversion play to try to regroup themselves. Their coach, Coach Starkey, realizes how important that play by Case Cousineau and the defense was, and they also realize how important this 2-point conversion is.
Let's do 2. Here we go, Braves. Let's do 2. 34, Kevin McFarland in the backfield with, of course, number 2, Case Cousineau. Michael Scherpenberg's going to be under center. Dave, he's barking out signals. That's got to be, doesn't it?
Well, one would think, Greg, that... Oh, my gosh! You've got to be kidding me! You've got to be kidding me! That's 2 points! Greg, one would have thought that there should have been a penalty call. Obviously, Roger Bacon crossed the line of scrimmage. Nothing called. Mike Scherpenberg goes back. He's in the arms of a defender for Roger Bacon. Won't go down. The whole team kind of converged on him, Roger Bacon. They left number 2, Case Cousineau, alone, and give Mike Scherpenberg credit. He's got a strong arm. He's able to throw to Case. And now, instead of being down by 2 touchdowns, suddenly it's Indian Hill 42, Roger Bacon 36.
That was a heck of a play by Michael Scherpenberg. Here we go. There we go. Look at the ref in the background. 2 points. Got themselves a ball game. These Braves have been fighting their way back. They haven't been down. They've believed in themselves and each other. They're just fighting and fighting and fighting and clawing their way back. And here we go. First time of the evening, the Braves have a lead. 42-36.
Here goes Matt Meriden.
See if we
Another
get
great
big
kickoff by Matt Meriden. Gets the ball down to about the 9, and the wave comes out in 43. Unable to get outside.
Good coverage by the Braves there. That's number 52, Charlie Brown on the coverage.
Justin Berry comes to the outside there, Greg, and he gets tackled before he's able to motor his way up and get more yardage. And once again, Kurt Rocco and his Spartans find themselves deep in Indian Hill Braves territory. And now, for the first time this season, they find themselves behind. We'll have to see how they respond. The Braves come down, and the crowd now really gets into it. He's back to pass. He gets flushed out of the pocket. He's got Braves all over him. Not able to get outside and not able to do what he's been doing all game, and that's running for 5 or 6 yards on a scramble. On that occasion, he gets about 1 yard.
It's number 39, John Whitehouse was in the game. Dave, I don't think we've seen John in the game tonight, junior.
And that was a big tackle.
Great play there.
Second down and 9 now. Rocco back again. Braves are coming.
Under pressure.
Rocco looking to throw. Finds a guy he thinks is open and overthrows.
Ben Carley.
Wide open.
Wow.
Ben Carley. As our receivers thought it was a run, they started back to try to cover up field. Carley slipped back behind him, and Rocco hurled that ball, and fortunately for us, threw it about 5 yards, a little bit too far.
counting about 55 yards in the air. Kurt Rocco showed his arm strength on that one. He just reared back and fired it, and he just missed Ben Carlin.
A big 3rd and 9 is what faces Roger Bacon now as the tide has turned and the Indian Hill Braves fans are really going crazy as Rocco's back, and he fires out in the flat and is able to get that first down there as he hits the first down marker over on about the 36-yard line. His receiver keeps his feet in bounds and then goes out of bounds, Greg, and that was a pretty good play for them.
That was a good play. Nice throw by Kurt Rocco there. Clock stops as a result of the first down and placement of the ball in the sticks.
I also think he went out of bounds, Greg, so it's not going to start until Rocco takes his hike, and Braves
blitz
are
by the
coming
Braves.
after him,
Blitz.
and they're
Number 24, Tommy Sanders in
up,
there.
and I thought for a moment there, Greg, the ball was loose, but a pretty good sack there by number 73, Steve Forbes, number 24, Tommy Sanders, and number 8.
Hey, Kristen Guidi. Chris Guidi, good job from his end
doing
position.
Great job there, and that's going to force Roger Bacon to burn their second time out here, Greg. 2:57 to go in this exciting game, and man, I can't believe what a difference a half makes.
We talked about it, that the Braves have to come out and win the second half of the game, and so far they've been able to do that. We're going to have to talk with Coach Seipel after the game and find out what he told him at halftime, because I'm sure whatever it was, he's going to want to bottle it because it's worked so far. Braves have come back and just had an excellent second half of football.
Greg, we had 7 at the end of the first half. We got 42. I'm not a great math guy, but that's 35 points in the second half. They have 36. Now they had 21 in the first half. That's only 15 for them, 2 scores. We really have changed the momentum.
Absolutely. The defense has played well. Big turnover, of course, has made all the difference. And the Braves are in the position they'd like to be, at home, forcing Roger Bacon to win on the road, and it's always tough to win on the road. High school, college, whatever. Another good rush.
Number 7.
Hits David Stevens in the hands, a little bit behind him. A bit of tough catch for David. The ball falls incomplete, Dave.
And Greg, another good job there. I'll tell you, our line is now starting to feel that energy that comes from the crowd, and they are really penetrating as they know Rocco's got to throw, and they're throwing everything at him, not giving him a lot of time. And you got to tip your hat to them for making him make a bad throw there.
Braves defense is stepping it up. Timeout. Timeout called by number 2, Case Cousineau.
And Greg, I'll tell you on that play, we have the advantage of being right next to the coaches in the booth, and the coaches recognized that there was a receiver that was open that wasn't properly covered, and they sent a message down to the sideline. You got to call a timeout. You can't let this happen.
Yeah, he's waving off the flag. We see the ref picking up the flag. The Braves did get the timeout in time. That's, I believe, Dave, the Braves' first timeout in the second half, so they'll have 2 remaining. That might be of some advantage to Roger Bacon, but as you pointed out, you can't let that play go off and not having your proper team on the field and right set of defenders. So good heads-up call by the Braves.
Well, Greg, we've seen some pretty important plays here, some pretty big plays for guys that are seniors. And, we talked about this being one and done. And I would venture to guess that this is one of the biggest plays of senior number 14, Kurt Rocco's career, as he's faced with a 3rd and 16. And he's got to find a way to find an answer to the Braves.
The blitz.
Greg, he goes down and almost intercepted as he was in the grasp. And now, Greg, with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left and a 4th down and 16, what do you do if you're Coach Starkey? You have the ball here on the 30-yard line. Do you go for it or do you punt and try to get the ball back?
I think you got to go for it at this point. You got 2:44 in the game, Dave. I think you got to go for it. That appears to be what Roger Bacon's doing. Here we go, folks. This could be the game. 4th and 16. from the Roger Bacon 30-yard line out of the shotgun.
And a nice pass there for the first down, and I'll tell you what a great job number 36 did to use concentration. Brandon Catterjohn, as he brings the ball down, and a huge play there for Rocco.
Huge
and his
play.
Roger
4th and
Bacon
17, and they convert. Didn't quite have the pressure on Kurt Rocco that time as a couple of the plays prior, but he stood in. The pocket stood tall and waited for his receiver to clear.
Clock moving, Greg.
Clock
2:30 and counting. Rocco back again over the middle.
Got a lot of time.
And there's a wide open number 89. Sam Mitchell, who catches the ball on about the 37-yard line. 55, Sam Moore is going to come in. At 73, Steve Forbes is going to come off. Maybe Sam, with some fresh legs, can put a little bit more pressure on Rocco, who's shown a chink in his armor, Greg. When you put pressure on him, he's not perfect.
1st and 10.
And it's picked up by number 34, Kevin McFarland. Perhaps what is the biggest catch of his career, Greg. You know, a couple of weeks ago, Kevin McFarland on offense caught 3 pretty big balls, but that has got to be the biggest interception, the biggest catch of his career, as that will seal the game here for the Indian Hill Braves. Is just about, I shouldn't talk too soon. I know Roger Bacon's got 1 timeout left, but what a huge interception for Kevin McFarland.
That's huge. The defense has really stepped it up. 2 of the big, strong players on that defense. Case Cousineau, interception, run for a touchdown here a couple of series ago. Now 34, Kevin McFarland picks one off, brings it back to the Indian Hill 44-yard line. It's 1st and 10 Braves.
Important thing here is to hang on to the ball for the Braves. We're going to give it to Case Cousineau, and
Case gets outside for a nice little gain.
Going to pick up some yards, and now Roger Bacon's going to have to make
Let's see
a
if our
decision as we're going to
IHTN
see.
crew has that replay. Yes, they do. Here we go with Rocco back to pass. Kevin's reading his eyes. He's looking at that receiver 89 the whole way. Kevin's reading him. Does a great job of stepping in front of the ball.
Boy, I got to tell you, that Indian Hill Braves television network crew, they're all over the
These
field.
guys are
like
awesome.
Kevin
These guys are
McFarland was
awesome.
all over that ball. What a great shot, guys. Thanks a lot. And now 2nd down and 5. And Case Cousineau
Straight
cuts
ahead.
it up the gut. And
tucks the ball away. Our producer, Andrew Burgess, has done a great job this evening in feeding us with the replays and directing the production tonight here on IHTN.
Greg, now Roger Bacon forced to burn their final timeout with 1:19 to go. It's a 3rd and 3. You know we're going to run the ball. If we get a first down, the game's over. Even if we don't get a first down, we're going to milk that clock for everything it's worth.
Absolutely, Dave. What a comeback by the Braves here in the 2nd half. Little commotion in the booth here. Excuse us, but coaches are getting excited up here, and rightly they should. With 1:19 to go in the contest, we've got the Indian Hill Braves up 42-36 for the Roger Bacon Spartans, and Roger Bacon has played an exceptional game here on the road at Indian Hill this evening, but the Braves have just played a little bit better. So here we go. 3rd and 3. This first down would be huge.
And Sherpy.
We thought maybe Sherpy'd get outside, but I think
He's got the first down, Greg.
He sure does. That's all he needed to do.
And that's the nail in the coffin for Roger Bacon. Is
that's a
Mike
first down.
Scherpenberg uses that athletic ability of his to get the first
we're gonna
down.
have a measurement. Refs want to be sure. Makes it a little more dramatic too, Dave. Looks like he might just have it by the nose of the ball.
That's all you need. My eyes, granted, aren't the best, but I will tell you this. If we don't have it, we're going for it, and we're going to get it on the next play.
Ref has it down. Oh, yeah, it's a first down. That is a first down, Braves. There we go. Woo! Michael Scherpenberg does it with his feet. He does it with his arm. we'll look forward to seeing the rushing stats. Dave, at the end of the game, Michael Scherpenberg is going to maybe have his all-time career high for rushing yards. He's had some big runs this evening.
When you talk about putting a game on your shoulders or a team on your shoulders and really coming to play in the second half, that's Mike Scherpenberg. And now Mike Scherpenberg and the Indian Hill Braves get in the old kneel-down position. And
there's one. Clock's running, 54 seconds and counting. Roger Bacon cannot stop the clock.
One more play is all that the seniors of the Roger Bacon Spartans, who really do not have anything to hold their heads down about, but do have their heads held down as they recognize that their season is coming to an end after this next snap of the ball. And Michael Scherpenberg goes up under his center and is going to let the ball go down all the way as far as he can. He'll wait until the referee signals. And Greg, that's it. 20 seconds left. The Indian Hill Braves have come back from an unbelievable deficit here to win this game in just unbelievable fashion. The Cinderella season continues.
What an amazing season and what an amazing game tonight. I'll tell you, no one has left the stadium, Dave. There's as many people here now as there were at 7:30. Great ending to this game. Just an exciting finish, and this is what we've come to know Braves football for this season. As we see the final score come up on the screen, Indian Hill 42, Roger Bacon 36. And this is what we've come to expect from this Indian Hill team. High-powered offense, a lot of excitement. We've talked about their average number of points scored per game this year being around 45, and we got 42 tonight, so we're just about on average. But look at that 36 for Roger Bacon.
Well, Greg, you know, there's not too much you and I can say that can outdo what these Indian Hill Braves did tonight. Of course, this is now just a stepping stone for them as they continue, hopefully, to reach the goal. We heard Coach Seipel talk about goals at the beginning of the game. Their big goal is to be in Canton, Ohio for the final game. They're going to have to play like they did tonight to continue that. But from what I've seen, these guys are a team of destiny. We're going to let you get out of here. We see these players congratulate themselves. We can't say anything better than to say the Braves win. They're going to be playing next week. Thank you for watching. For Joe and Andy's dad, this is Dave Prem, and for Abby and Michael's dad, Greg Schmidt from Tomahawk Stadium. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Good evening.